Warning, this podcast has some swears in it.
I'd rate it PG-13 at most, but let's just be on the safe side and say viewer discretion is advised.
Well, maybe I just bring the recording percentage down to 70%, so at least gives me some room to peek the microphone. just enough for me to yell my head off and not break the bank or whatever.
Time to raise your blades, heroes.
And check some vibes.
It's the Heroes Blade Vibe Check.
Quinn, the summer days means everything and everyone is just busy. I don't know if you relate to that. I don't know if you feel that.
Not me personally, but I do hear people are like, they've got events that they gotta go to. People are planning their summer weddings and their events and things. So yeah, people are like going places and doing things. And of course there's conventions.
Yep, which honestly, I had this talk. Let me thank you for setting the tone. Let me elaborate a bit further. So I just got back from a wedding of my girlfriend's brother, and it was all nice. And it's the first time that I went to Victoria, BC. Our nation's capital and so on. Nice town. We were staying in a hotel in Chinatown, and food bomb, weather just a little bit too warm, but not like 25 plus degrees Celsius warm. So we weren't like absolutely roasting, and the wedding venue and everything was all beautiful. So it was fun, but it's just, again, there's so many things to do with this 1 week in particular, and it always just seems like more stuff is piling up. Like, I knew I had 2 weddings to go to this week. I just came back from one. I'm going to another one at the end of this week. It'll be on my birthday, so it'll be even funnier. Yeah, but then there's always the things in the back where it's like, I forgot my suit. Like, we left and I forgot my suit, and thankfully the in-laws were able to arrange for me to get it back. But we were like on the boat coming home. I was like, I fucking forgot my suit. I need that in like another 6 days.
Oh man.
And that shit ain't cheap. Yeah. So I gotta go out later this week to go get it from the people who are bringing it back from the island, just so I can go back to a different part of Vancouver Island and go to another wedding. And it's just, it's a whole thing. I would almost rather be willing to go to a convention if I think I had more of a drive to go to these things. I think Benoit was being like, hey, so Face-to-Face Games is having their Command Fest event on Vancouver Island in Victoria, I'm pretty sure, if I remember. And I got to double check, actually, now that I think about it. I'll get back to you on that. But it was like, oh, I would love to go, and I think going with Benoit would be really cool. But here's my problem, is that, like, there's so much money. Like, hotels are not cheap. Airbnbs, which I think are getting phased out a bit in BC, or at least maybe the Vancouver area, because of like some new laws.
They suck. Hotels have always ruled, dude. Hotels rule.
Okay. So, like, Victoria has like a lot of older infrastructure. Like, the hotels have been around for like decades, if not longer, right? And we were hanging out, and my girlfriend's, one of her other brothers was in town, and they had their hotel room, and we went in, and they're like, check out this door in like the loft area, which is like kind of hard. How do I illustrate this? It's like a studio apartment with like it would be a 2-floor apartment if like it would have 2 levels if there were stairways getting up onto the second level. But when you peek over the edge of like all these like landing areas, you see like doors in like the like higher up in the room, and we're like, the fucking Oompa Loompas come out and do whatever they want in like the upper landing. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And when we asked like the manager, she's like, oh no, that's for like each of the rooms has its own water supply, and that's like just a maintenance store. We're like, oh, okay, that checks
explains
out.
So much.
I'm like, thank God, because I would have like assumed it was like, I'm like, when are the Oompa Loompas gonna come out and do a whole song and dance while watching us sleep? Like, what the fuck is this shit? It's so creepy. So, but yeah, no, like, so it was just interesting to have like this fun weekend of like, no, we get in, look at these nice hotel, and they're nice, huge hotel rooms. Like, if it was an apartment that had a double floor to like a different level and had like a kitchen underneath that or whatever, and like, cool, this is like, I like the space, it's wide and open, but also slightly creepy because it's old and rustic and the walls have ears or whatever. Those walls were also too thin. People were having like parties and everyone's getting busy in anticipation for the long weekend before Canada Day and all this other stuff. So it was like hard to get to sleep, and the beds actually kind of sucked. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. And this week is going to be so busy because I also got to try and edit this episode and get it out before I head out for the weekend. So no pressure.
I believe in you. You are podcasting's strongest warrior.
I am, though. Truly, I am. It's kind of ridiculous. So let's go into... Oh, wait. The face-to-face tour is in Vancouver in October. Okay. That's exciting. I can look forward to that. All right. Let's talk about your Final Fantasy ass posting over here.
Yeah, so, and I want to add one more thing here.
Okay, all right. Let me open this can. We got a Spinnaker Soda Company root beer for today. It's pretty tasty. Okay, I love what we got going on here.
Okay.
I love what's going on here between the two of us.
So yeah, it's all about Final Fantasy, baby. I started playing Final Fantasy VIII because I'm distracting myself from Final Fantasy VII and wanted to see what the fuck is going on in here.
Quinn, you will never finish Final Fantasy VII now.
I might, but I might not. I played the hits, basically. The only other thing that I need to like really see to experience everything that people talk about in the game is to watch Sephiroth do his big wind-up long animation attack. Like the... you know what? I'm not super familiar Supernova.
with it.
It's like casting Meteor, but like cooler, and there's a whole bunch of like math and shit that goes on the screen. It's very cool to see, but also you got to play a bunch more game to get to there, and maybe we'll get there. I don't know. Post encouragement in the comments to maybe get me further into the game. Glacier sucks, dude. Anyway, so yeah, playing Final Fantasy VIII. They broke real magic, so everybody's a blue mage in this one. If you want to cast spells, you have to steal them from your enemies. And this is also the way that you can acquire summons called Guardian Forces in this game, which makes for very funny abbreviations. Tell you, don't forget to equip your GF before battle. So true, bestie. Don't forget.
Fun with acronyms, am I right? Could this mean gluten-free? Could this mean girlfriend? No,
yeah, dude,
it's Guardian. It's Guardian Force or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, that reminds me of another funny thing that I've seen on the internet with GF, where it's just like there's this move in Tekken that the Mishima boys can do called the Electric Wind God Fist.
Yeah.
And another user has their handle, Electric Wind Girlfriend.
I too wish for an electric god girlfriend.
So yeah, that's Final Fantasy VIII. It's very fun so far. There's this sequence with the relentless ATM 05 or whatever the fucking number is on it, but you're just like doing everything you can, wailing on this indestructible robot, and the most that you can do is stun it at this point in the game, unless you've done a bunch of like hacks and grinding or whatever.
Yeah.
So you stun it temporarily, you run a few fucking feet, maybe you get to the next screen before the robot catches up with you, and you have to fight and wail on it again to stun it, and it's the most stressful shit. I'm just like, please let me out of here. I have to escape. I need to get back to the beach before I run out of time and they leave.
Listen, you 1990s ass Final Fantasy game. I'm on content tourism mode and I don't have time for this shit.
They actually planned for the whole thing. It's a really like a narrative experience that they build into the game for you. So you have like enough time to do all of the things that you need to do, but it does feel very stressful. So
heavily like scripted and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're just like, you're fucking booking it down the streets of this city. You're trying to escape this robot and you can just barely stun it before you can run a few more screens down. And you're like on the beach and you're like running out of time. The boats are like, bro, we are fucking leaving. You need to get your ass in here. But you're like inside of them. So you're just like fucking booking it. And this robot is hot on your heels and you leap and you make it into the boat, but the robot is like, shit, bitch, I'm coming too, and tries to leap in there as well. And one of your party members who stayed behind for this part of the mission is like on top of the boat and whips out this fucking chain gun and just goes ham on the robot and stares it down and kills it with the gun.
What
and
the
you're
fuck?
Just like, oh, fuck, dude.
Damn, video games are so cool, but also, you know what's cool? Fucking like miniguns and shit.
Video games are so cool.
Holy shit. You're like, I'm fighting for my fucking life, and the game's like, don't worry, fam. After we've instilled this sense of anxiety in you, we got you. You're like, oh, thank God.
You really do. I'm just like running and I'm like, Quistis, help, help. And then she's like, I got your back. And she whips out that massive gun and just like, she's got you covered.
Wait a minute. Man. They can't have guns in my Final Fantasy game. Oh, wait, actually, we got Magitech already.
Yeah, and actually, they'll staple them to blades. And your main character in Final Fantasy VIII, Squall, he wields the gun blade. And it's exactly what it fucking sounds like. A gun with a blade on the end. Like a sword size.
Yeah, no, if you... the gun blade is very popular in pulp culture media. If we look forward ahead at Final Fantasy 13, Lightning's got her own, a little more high tech. Let's take a look at the web series Ruby. Everyone and their grandmother usually has some form of melee weapon and a gun, and all of them
shout out to Homegirl with the rocket scythe. That's my shit.
Let's go fucking Ruby. Shout out to Sun Wukong with his fucking nunchuck shotguns. It's peak. It's fucking peak.
They got Sun Wukong in there?
Yeah, they do.
Shit, dude.
You should probably watch that, Quinn, in the next 5 years.
Yeah, it'll take that amount of time, but we'll get there.
There's 9 seasons, by the way. So you got your... I think each season tends to average like an hour and a half once all like the episodes are put together. So like you could like do it in a day once you get locked the fuck in.
I could watch that as like 9 movies.
Yeah, exactly. Just it's a good time.
Which sounds like my personal hell, but I could maybe do it.
But if it's peak though, which you know everyone's definitions of peak is different, but I think Ruby is peak.
I think where we can agree on peak, though, is Final Fantasy fucking 16, my guy.
Oh, the sale finally happened. There's that summer Steam sale, and I think it dropped from I think I got it for like $40-something Canadian, and I was like, hey, Quinn, I'll finally get it for you. And you're like, actually about that, fam.
Yeah, shout out to mysterious benefactor P-Frizz who hooked me up with the copy of Final Fantasy 16, and I've been playing that, and holy shit, dude, when Final Fantasy is a character action game, it is very cool. I really like this formula of it, and I'm looking forward to playing more character action Final Fantasies.
So, what I thought was funny was that I was like, hey, I'll get it for you. Like, nah, P-Frizz got it for me. And you sent, like, I showed you, like, the screenshot of it. Like, any of those games that have, like, different graphical settings and how each of them, like, are rendered, or when they get, like, don't even get me started on, like, AMD or NVIDIA, whatever graphic bullshit that I don't know and I don't care about. But I was doing, like, the optimization screen, and you're like, I am still downloading it. I'm like, Quinn, what is going on? Your internet is trash, please. I'm gonna start playing this game before you. But then I had to go away for the weekend, and you have clearly gotten much further ahead than I have.
Yeah, I'm like 9 or so hours into the game now. I have learned how to limit break, and I've turned into the demon on multiple occasions. Man, Final Fantasy 16 is so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, no, when I first saw some people doing an LP, like on YouTube or whatever, or on Twitch, two guys, Wooly and Pat from Castle Super Beast podcast, and their respective channels, Wooly Versus and Pat Stares At. They're both also fighting game enthusiasts, and they love, like, character action games. So they're like, all right, it's time to fucking lab it up in the astral mental projection room where you could just learn to do combos and shit. And they're like, it's just like DMC and Bayonetta and all this other shit. Woo! It's like, yeah, no, the sauce is real in this game, and they fucking cooked. They really did.
They really did. I've been playing on content tourism mode, but I think the game has done its job with a couple of pieces of equipment called the Ring of Timely Strikes and Timely Focus.
Yeah.
Which make it easy to do the cool, flashy combos of the game and make it easy to dodge enemy attacks, respectively, with the dodge button. I'm probably going to keep the dodge ring on because it literally does just turn the game into Bayonetta, which is what I like a lot.
Yeah.
And the other one, the combo one, I think that one has done its job of creating enough buy-in in me to make me want to, like, learn to do all of that manually. So I think we're going to turn that one off and then spend some time in the lab getting more comfortable with the attacks and stuff, because they do seem enough like a thing that I can put together. Like, it's just a fighting game, or it's just Devil May Cry or Bayonetta, and
or whatever,
like we talked about, I heart Bayonetta, so we can play this.
So yeah, I am a little crunched for time this week, but I'm hoping to get some more Final Fantasy 16 time in. But with the available time that I had before we got this episode started, I instead was playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Because several things happened. I'll go over the Akuma and Street Fighter 6 update that happened that I missed out on initially. And I'll go back to you on that. I'll go back. Give me a second here.
All right.
But it was official title update 2. And outside of the complaints that the community, the quote-unquote Monster Hunter community has right now, the game is not super optimized. So graphically, there's like a bunch of stuff going on. So they try doing some fixes in the background. But on top of that, as they do, they add new monsters with every major update. So you get to go on and be like, cool, I'm going to go fight Monster Hunter 4's Seregios, which is basically a giant pine cone lizard that's covered in spikes that shoots you and makes you bleed.
Okay.
And then Seregios weapons, they auto sharpen when you're doing like dodge rolls and stuff. So They have like higher sharpness than usual, and they do like pretty good damage. And you're able to like keep the sharpness up ambiently just by moving around and stuff. And the fight's cool. Like it's a good classic like Monster Hunter 4 flagship monster. So it was like, hey, this is good to see this guy again. But nothing's gonna beat, and I hate the pronunciation of Legiacruz in the game. But good old Monster Hunter tries flagship monster Legiacruz is back. The good old serpent crocodile of the sea that discharges electrical energy out of the crystals on his back.
Sick.
It's fucking so good. It's peak. Your Honor, it's peak. They always do, because like I don't know what it is with Capcom, right? Like they between like worlds, not worlds. It's not plural worlds. It's world. Monster Hunter World and Wilds. Do like a very cinematic opening thing where like your character and then the other NPCs are usually like motion capture graphics and high fidelity stuff, and you get introduced to the monster before you kind of seamlessly get into the action. And this one's no different. Like one of the expedition members, because like you're in a new territory where apparently people haven't been living there in forever, despite the fact there are obviously people there. This character's like, oh my god, this Legiacruz is here wrecking shit, but I guess we gotta kill him. And then your hunter's like, nah, how about we capture it instead? The character's like, oh my god, thank you. And you're like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm gonna go back and murder it later, but whatever. And then the deserted island fighting theme from Monster Hunter Tri kicks in with like its new orchestra mix, and I'm like, oh! I teared up. I was like, oh, this hits me right in the nostalgia, like super duper fucking hard. And then they're like, oh, and here's some like slightly iffy underwater combat that is only exclusive to this monster. And I'm like, actually, hold on a minute. This is pretty peak. Let's keep this up.
Hell yeah.
So I gotta go back in again when I have the time, probably sometime next week. After I knock the shit out of some rando dudes with Clive, I gotta get back in to see if I can get their armors going, because apparently some of it might be good for like gun lancing stuff. So I gotta get back into the swing of things with that. Also, shout out to Medusa for getting into Monster Hunter Rise. She seems to be enjoying herself.
Yeah, that's inspiring other gamers to get back into Monster Hunter, and it's very cute to see everybody like picking up their hammers and their axes and doing their little stretchies like, all right, guess I'm back.
It's time for my ninja way. It's time to go back to Rise. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to get updates from her, because I just always love seeing people like really get into Monster Hunter. Also, unrelated. Okay. So the Akuma thing. So randomly Akuma is just there. He
what do
has
you mean randomly Akuma is just there?
Well, I don't know. How do these characters from these other franchises just show up out of nowhere, Quinn?
You mean like in Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
Akuma's in Monster Hunter?
Yeah. That's what I said. Did you not understand this? Okay, so
I didn't contextually get that. Like, I see Akuma /SF6 update in the notes here, which to me
no.
Akuma in the DLC.
No,
for
I don't play.
SF6.
I don't play Street Fighter 6. This is Akuma in Monster Hunter.
What the actual fuck is going on? Is he like a guy that you hunt? Or what?
Thankfully, no. Okay, so back in World, Capcom decided to do a bunch of this cross-promotional stuff. And obviously, if they do their own in-house studio stuff, like they did a Devil May Cry themed arena fight where all the themes are based off of Devil May Cry songs throughout like the series, depending on which weapon you use. So if you use a Great Sword, it's Dante's theme from like DMC 1. And if you use a Charge Blade, I think his Charge Blade was like Nero's theme from DMC 4. So like it keeps going, right? And then they did one with Final Fantasy 14, so you get to fight Behemoth in World, and you get random cactars showing up in the desert, doing 1,000 needles
Shit.
monsters.
Get 1,000 needles, bitch.
So you can like get you're hunting like a desert monster, and you like can trip the cactuar to just start spinning and spraying its needles all over the place, and the monster just like dies. So then they're like, oh, and then they did Witcher 3, where you do actually have to fight like a monster from The Witcher, and it's like the most bullshit fight in that game, but that's a whole other thing. So fast forward to Wilds, and they're like, cool. Rather than give the players an actual Street Fighter 6 update to like actually keep people interested in the game, they're like, how about we port Akuma just straight up as is into Wilds? So you get a layered armor where it's just one piece. It is just Akuma. You can't just like put his head or his super duper fucking swole body on your hunter. And what they do is when as the lead up, you like show you're like they're like, hey, there's all these like random monsters that are like dead in this area of the map, and everyone's like, okay, let's go like check it out, right? And you and your handler go up, and they're like, wow, this super powerful monster got like its neck snapped because it got punched so hard in the face or whatever. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Who could have done that? Did Sephiroth do this?
And then you and your handler go up to Akuma, and he's like, what do you want? And you're just like, yeah, hey, dog, you're pretty strong. We know this. This seems really cool and all. Kind of a bit of freaky. Can you stop killing monsters like this? Like, we got like an environment to protect and like collaborate with. And he's like, what? I'm just trying to think of every stupid bullshit, like, the strongest kills the weak and blah blah blah, and if they're monsters it's instinctual, we must fight and kill each other. And it's like, okay, dude. And then
classic Akuma.
And then your hunter's like, yeah, okay, but actually I'm gonna ask you to stop. And then Akuma Satsui no Hado's you.
Oh shit.
And then he's like, come back once you have learned, and we will meet, and I will stop. And your character picks himself up, and you go fight one of the like the ape style monsters in the game. They haven't put in Rajang yet, but they do have another one. And your character gets his Akuma like layered armor on with like whatever hunter weapon on the backside of your body, like your greatsword or your hammer or whatever. And your handler's like, Hunter, are you okay? And you're like, a battle to the death must happen. Come be a witness. And you're speaking exactly like him. And then they're like, cool. Here you are. Don't draw your weapon. Start doing Akuma combos on this monster with like your fists.
Do they just like literally let you input Hadouken?
Yeah, well, they make your Hadouken a slinger thing, so you can like shoot it. Like you still can like aim and shoot it. But as part of like your neutral combo, you actually can do a Hadouken. So it was sick. Like, oh, sick. Quinn, you're the fighting game person between the two of us. What's the thing when like he steps like and leaps across the screen in like a single like straight line? Like, I don't know, like a. Like his, I feel like you like he just whenever you're dodging, it's not like your usual Monster Hunter dodge roll where you like kind of just roll to the side or whatever. Like he's literally leaping up in a Street Fighter pose and just fucking sliding through the air to like the left or right, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I think that's the like lead up to his ultimate like Raging Demon attack.
Yeah, and then you can after a while you can do Raging Demon against them.
Sick.
And so like as long as you have the layered armor, and I don't actually know how good the layered armor is or anything like that, or if it's like actual armor or something.
Doesn't matter how good it is if it's cool.
It is. It's fucking cool. I wish it wasn't exactly tied to the layered armor, and you could just literally have the hidden 16th fight like weapon of just fucking
my fists.
Satsui no Hado, like, or whatever. So anyway, you do the thing. And you come back, and he's like, this farce of a pupil and teacher relationship is over. And your character's like, yes, master. And your handler's like, what the fuck is going on here? And then he just disappears. That's it. You can now do Akuma Street Fighter 6 shit in Monster Hunter Wilds. It's great.
That fucking rules.
And then the one thing that happens is that it gives you the KO from Street Fighter 6 when you kill the monster. And then Akuma does like the walk towards the camera thing where it's like Akuma wins, and then it gives you like the Street Fighter 6 like wrap up screen, and you're like, all right, this is pretty.
I fucking love that. That's so cool.
It's cool. It really is cool. I think I might just like download a mod of it where it's like, yeah, you can just do that as the hunter, but I'll have to go make sure that doesn't just lock my account down from playing online. All right. That is enough video game stuff. Let's get into some vibe checks. Let's do the thing that people are here for.
All right.
People love us yapping, Quinn. Let's not forget.
Yeah, I mean we're just yapping, but anyway. We're here to vibe check Vana, Heart of Hydaelyn today. She's 1 white for a 3/3 legendary creature, Elder Wizard, and whenever you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn, and with Hero Sundering, you can spend 7 and tap and exile target non-land permanent, and then transform Vana at sorcery speed into Hydaelyn, the Mother Crystal, legendary creature, god, 4/4, indestructible, and Blessing of Light. At the beginning of combat in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. Until your next turn, it gains indestructible. If that creature is legendary, draw a card. This is just like the Legend Ball, but like mono white. And she herself is a 6/5 with the blade. The blade being in your deck means when you cast Mikaeus for X is 0, he I guess he still doesn't like equip that in enough time for that, but like you can cast him for way cheaper for like 1 and have counters on the guy that you can spread around. And when he doesn't have any more counters on him, he's still got the blade, so he's still around, and you can tap to add more counters or do whatever you're doing with him. I think that's a pretty interesting synergy with that, I guess. And your whole deck is legend, so everybody's going to be able to pick up the blade whenever it's advantageous. You're probably on like Gisela or whatever, so she's a good holder. Any of the angels, really. You want to probably play that card in that deck.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting that, like, not necessarily, like, interesting, but it's like, okay, mono white gets another draw once per turn trigger. And legendary is pretty easy to do. Not even just, like, within the Final Fantasy set, but, like, in any commander deck. I think, a while ago in the Legendary Creature Discord, Kyle was wondering, because they did the Final Fantasy set review, just in general, which I was still happy to see them do. And then Kyle's like, how many legendary creatures do people have in their decks on average? And I think when I did some calculations, I think it came out to nearly like, it's like 8.5 legends per deck for me right now. Like, you could probably increase that saturation, or if you have like 2 commanders, for example, and you have a Venat and the 99, like you could draw a couple cards like pretty consistently throughout a game. It's pretty sweet.
I think you're almost always going to be able to trigger that if you're playing the legendary type, and then if you're not, then take a look at your legend density. If it's at like enough where you're casting a legendary creature pretty regularly, might be worthwhile, especially because the other side of that, after you've removed a thing, is just like indestructible +1/+1 counters, draw cards. Like, it helps you stabilize and win the game once you've got your big guy that you want to protect.
Yeah. 7 mana is a really big ask, and maybe
I don't think so. If you're playing white, you're built to go the long game, so you just wrath a bunch or whatever, force it to get to that point.
Fair enough. But yeah, I guess if you already got it in the 99, like you're already, or in the command zone, like you're already on the right track, being able to. So yeah, I can see that. Pretty sweet, pretty cool.
What you got for me?
I got Ifrit, Warden of Inferno on the backside of Clive. Clive, obviously, being a 6-mana 5/5, would love to have it, but in particular, the one thing that we really care about is when Clive transforms into Ifrit, is the first chapter Lunge, where Ifrit fights up to one other target creature. He is a 9/9. That is usually killing most things in general. But the one thing that I am actually caring about is that extra bit of toughness. That really does go a long way. So when you get like Apex Altasaur, that where it's that big mono green dinosaur that
that fights a bunch on each.
Yeah,
it's
enrage, trigger,
wrath.
dealt damage, do it again, right? Like, we're not exactly in that same level, but if we're wanting to just increase the clock enough, get Ifrit to a double tap level, and also have that extra bit of toughness, so then that way, if people try to dogpile him on, like, you know, we're playing this guy with haste, you know? Come down, equip the blade, fight something, get rid of something big or small or whatever, and have whatever toughness available to go for the swing in afterward. But yeah, I think he works well with the blade. It's a little excessive, but if we can enter double tap level, get a Teamer Battle Rage in, we're good to go.
Yeah, fucking get him.
So yeah, pretty good. I'll talk about the deck later when we get to Brews off the shelf, because I made this guy, unsurprisingly.
Swag.
What do you got going on?
Choco, Seeker of Paradise is a tentative pass.
Okay.
The thing is, so check this out. Choco is a 3/5 legendary creature bird for 1 in green, white, blue, and whenever one or more birds you control attack, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may put one of them into your hand, then put any number of land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest into your graveyard. And landfall, whenever a land you control enters, Choco gets +1/+0 until end of turn. +3/+0, or +3/+2 is pretty good, but this card so desperately wants you to be seeing either lands or birds, and anything that's not land or a bird is like, you should be protecting Choco or you're literally just in my fucking way. So I think despite her wanting to go into the red zone and really being able to use that buff, I would rather just have a land in that slot so that when I see that, I can put that land into play and use that to fuel future murderous intent.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Recently I've been going through like a bit of a like usual like excessive tuning of a bunch of decks and everything. And I've been looking at some like decks that really care about equipment, and I've been looking at some decks that really want that extra bonus on like the commander or something. But if a Hero's Blade just does not synergize with the rest of the deck, or it could be taking up slot, like if you're playing Enchantress list, like you're probably playing banger like auras that kind of just like get in the way, and you're probably also able to bring them back too. So unless you're playing like Selesnya Danitha or something, like, you know, you probably don't really care enough. You could probably take it out comfortably. And yeah, Choco and like sort of like the bird like landfall archetype that they got going on, I think you're pretty okay to pass on it, you know? Like pass it up and not as in it passes the check.
Yeah, I think so. I think I would be happier skipping that and just playing a land instead. So instead of pass tentatively, I think we're just going to upgrade that to a fail. Downgrade, rather. Yeah, where does I fail? I would rather have a land, and if that's the case, then yeah, that's a fail.
All right.
I have a guy from Edge of Eternity next if you've got a weird fucking transition or whatever.
No, go ahead. I mean, we already have like the early previews for Edge of Eternities, which is like cool, whatever. If you're part of if you hate the content grind, I'm sorry. But it's just another uncommon legend that where I'm neat with some utility.
Yeah, so Alpha Rael Dreaming Out Acolyte is a legendary creature human cleric, a 2/3 for 1, a blue and a black. And when he enters, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. During your turn, Alpha Rael has Death Touch. I think once you've done your silly little draw and discard, you can equip your Hero's Blade and get to swing and make use of that Death Touch. Also, you want to, like, this guy encourages seeing the enter the battlefield ability multiple times, so you're probably on your Conjurer's Closet shit. And after each of those blinks, he's just going to pick that Hero's Blade right back up. I think he's tailor-made for it.
The auto snap-on really does go a long way.
Yeah.
I was commenting on it because some people were talking about it in some other Discords I'm in. But I find it very funny that we are just more or less off the heels of Final Fantasy, where we have Lock Cole, very similar stat spread for 1 blue, black, 2/3 human rogue with Death Touch and Lifelink. But Lock has to deal damage to a player to draw and discard a card. So it depends on, like, either way you're getting in there, but Locke wants to stay around long term to get that damage in, and Alpha Rael just needs to get flickered or re-enter or be reanimated or whatever to get that again. And you still have that flexibility of either you're doing a just straight up Faithless Looting effect, or if you have that discarded artifact that you're looking for, you are able to kind of get into plus sometimes, so it does depend.
If you're a Noctis gamer, you can discard your Sword of whatever and then use Noctis to cast that from the graveyard, and it's kind of straight card advantage.
I got this guy looking at Radun Hagadoon to discard, I don't know, fucking Excalibur or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Fucking A tier and pre-win.
I don't know. I'm honestly probably just hard casting Excalibur more often than not.
Yeah,
but,
I think that one's cheap enough usually for you that you can do that, because you've got so many knives just laying around.
Yeah. So yeah.
You can probably do that with Machinist's Arsenal.
Maybe, yeah. I think the tech that I look for that particular deck has gotten better. Oh, you know what I'm discarding? Elbrus the Binding Blade. There we go. This guy's got a slot.
There we go. Easy peasy.
Got there. Yeah, no, I think this guy is definitely going to be a good role player for a lot of decks. And if you're in that Artificer category, which is going to be another Artificer set, we're in space.
We got a bunch of spacecraft coming up, which are which are artifacts. So
yeah.
Any of the artifact synergy is going to be good.
Yeah.
And anytime they do a 3 mana creature that enters the battlefield and draws and discards, I'm sitting up and taking notice, because I want to keep playing the self-discard Grixis mid-range deck with fucking Kefka and Howler and Inti and Fear of Missing Out and
the Chariot.
Crypt Caller Chariot, just all of those cards from Standard that say whenever you discard or instruct you to discard. I would like to put them all under one home.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So he fits in like a glove. As a commander, not so sure. It's pretty rough competition, but
yeah, there's a lot going on. But
good,
solid role player.
Good utility, yeah.
All right, so tell me about this fucking Blind Obedience doesn't ... but ...
Listen. So this was a bit of a joke entry, but
explain thyself.
I love playing Blind Obedience and getting people got, but I hate it when it's played against me. But not enough people play it, I guess. So I'm kind of getting away with it.
I would play it more if it didn't draw so much heat.
Well, I guess we're just built different, you know. I don't know. Blind Obedience has been a pretty good role player in some of the games that I've been playing recently. It keeps people in check just long enough to be an annoyance and long enough for me to get some extra hits in, but not long enough for them to be permanently taken out.
Blind Obedience coming through and saying absolutely none of your hasty Titan bullshit.
Yeah, you can get the first half of the Titan bullshit, but you can't get the second half of the Titan bullshit right now.
You gotta fucking wait like everybody else.
Yeah. And obviously having Extort on it has always been a boon for whatever deck it's been added in.
Yeah, that makes it a win condition in a lot of extremely sweaty decks.
But I've just found, because I've gotten more copies of the, which version is it?
Enchanting Tales bonus sheet from Wilds of Eldraine.
Yes, that one specifically. I've been able to get a couple more copies of that particular version. It's just very pretty.
Sick. I think that one is beautiful, yeah.
So it felt like a no-brainer to start adding it. And I think, I'm pretty sure I've added it to, did I add it to Dion? And the answer is yes. And it's in Sephiroth. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I also put it in Squall, because like I just need more ways to get Squall on in there so I can bring back more stuff. And you blow it up, guess what he can bring back? I can bring it back again. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds very annoying.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I think between like Blind Obedience and Thalia, Heretic Athar, they have been annoying enough to get in the way for that short period of time, but it's not like I'm just being like, I'm not pulling the Cole, Frost Titan, everything is frozen thing. Like, I'm not doing that. All as tempting as it is.
I'm just keeping everybody honest.
Yeah. As honest as you keep me honest, which means if you blind obedience my ass, I'm in the exact same spot that I'm putting you in, and it's fucking horseshit.
Which is why every time I get got by a Thalia or a Blind Obedience, I'm just like, thank you, Blind Obedience. I love you, Blind Obedience, keeping me honest.
Okay. So, other than that, no, Blind Obedience doesn't pass the vibe check. However, it is just a cool card, and I didn't know a good way to bring it into the discussion. So, here we go. You
know what? Fair enough. It's your podcast. You can talk about Blind Obedience if you want to.
Let's go into comments. Bit of a short one this week. Light was coming through over on YouTube with being like, yeah, Jen saying Flyers win games, and Light shaking hands with her saying the game is called Elder Dragon Highlander. You need to be able to big Flyers.
Big Flyers.
Love listening to this one and hearing Donnie roar with laughter the whole time. Yeah. Goddamn, that man can laugh. We were getting him going that entire damn episode.
Yeah, great episode. Thanks for everything, gamers.
Yeah,
and
so
from Plaidclad in the Discord, Quinn, we're gonna be a reasonable on runtime. Cole, no the fuck we're not. Not even halfway done, lol.
Yeah, that was just shy of like the 1 hour 45 minutes /2 hour mark. So like we were not being fucking normal.
One can do their best.
Yep. Like for this episode, God knows what we're doing. We're gonna find out. So yeah, in general, a lot of people have been coming to the Discord alongside all the bots that keep getting into the Discord as well. But that's a whole other thing. We got like Uncharismatic Bard coming in asking questions all the time, people sharing memes and stuff. Plaidclad had this Smash Bros meme off of Reddit where it's all the Magic Gathering cards of Ryu, Ken, Cloud, Sephiroth, and Sonic the Hedgehog over top the Spider-Man pointing meme thing. And then Charlotte was also sharing with us her experiences with the Mardu Final Fantasy pre-con with Terra, and apparently just fucking stomped.
Oh yeah, that deck rules.
And then Cody asked the question, Cole, what did you do to the price of Yojimbo? To which I said, I plead the fifth.
We fucking knew from the start that shit was busted, dude.
Yeah. My poor friend, I can't remember if I got that foil alt art version at the time when we recorded last, but my friend at work who had sold me Ocelot Pride for $20, and then it jumped up in price. He came by and he's like, hey, I know you want that Yojimbo. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, dude. He's like, how does $12 sound? I'm like, oh, yeah. It is no longer like It's no longer like a $20 card. That thing is shot up in price so much. He's like, Cole, you can't keep getting away with this. And I'm like, stop doing this with me, dude. You're gonna lose out.
Keep forever.
Oh yeah. Like this thing's like, it's about $60 Canadian at my local store, and I'm not fucking letting this damn thing go. It's just fucking summon Yojimbo. This thing is sick. This thing is so good.
Yeah, every time he shows up, I've been like, fuck, dude, this card is bananas.
It fucking rips every single time. And, I've learned of a glaring weakness about...
to disenchant?
No, well, there's that too. But if people are proliferating on your summon creatures...
you get bodied and miss the time where you can attack.
Yeah. So just,
Yeah. Oh, man, I had somebody fucking proliferate my summon creatures and then my Saga Shelly. So, like, they advanced us all the way to the last chapter where she Rise of the Dark Realms is.
Yeah.
And they just did that and put everything onto the battlefield under my control and crashed the game.
Huh. Interesting.
Whoops. Maybe don't do that.
Hey, MTGO, I think you need to fix that.
Maybe let me do that myself.
Yeah, let's not accelerate the board state. I feel as if maybe the person was like, maybe if I just get it back to the front side. And then they were like, oh no. And then they went, as like the whole thing crashed.
Yeah, they could not have planned that all the way through.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's too good. All right. Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
I need to send you to the Smoking Mids dimension with Benoit.
All right.
Hey everyone, it's Johnny Mardu. Got some good news and some bad news. But let's start with the good news. Go check in with Benoit and Quinn, see what's going on in the Smoking Mids dimension.
Welcome back to my very mysterious podcast. Quinn, I was gonna come up with another JRPG one, but I'll admit I drew a bit of a blank. So, you know what the next best things to JRPGs is?
What?
Freaking board games that take 6 hours to complete. So what if we made our podcast about that?
All right. The additional information required. Continue.
Because then we could be smoking Terra Mystica!
I'm unfamiliar with this card game.
Yes, that's right. For all one of you in the audience that knows what I'm talking about with Terra Mystica. That one was for you. We are probably in our final throes of Final Fantasy. Quinn, what do you do to have fun in Final Fantasy? You've got someone from out of town, they're visiting, they're like, yeah, I kind of wanted to check out this Final Fantasy set. Where do you take them to show a good time?
Probably to the precons. Like, I absolutely adore everything in the main set, but if you're just trying to, like, play some Final Fantasy right fucking now, you just want to experience that, you play one of those, because it's got the, like, big four common favorite games, and if that's not one of your favorites, then I'm sure you do have a second favorite that is in one of those that you can attach to. So you just, like, grab that and game with the homies.
That was a very sincere answer, which is going to make what mine is a lot less, impactful. This is a deck that I've been idly working on that features one of my favorite things about EDH. When a legend really makes you search through the bin for cards that don't have a lot of home in other decks. Mm-hmm. This is I'm talking, of course, about Kane, Traitorous Dragoon.
Oh, this guy's so funny.
Yeah, like I as we've established before, I'm not afraid of giving my opponents cards. Mm-hmm. I just want to see things happen sometimes in games, and Kane feels like a facilitator. He's a 2/4 human knight with jump, jump is not a keyword, but it is a thing that exists in Final Fantasy that they've referenced a couple times in the set, which is during your turn, the creature with jump has flying. So jump during your turn, Kane is flying, and whenever Kane deals combat damage to a player, that player gains control of Kane. If they do, you draw that many cards, create that many tapped treasure tokens, then lose that much life.
Hell yeah.
What cards am I talking about? I'm talking about instants that give a target creature plus a bajillion.
Oh.
Because, it's the immediate thought to Kane was like, oh, well, I'll get him really big, and I'll make it so that I draw a ton of cards and make a ton of treasures. And there was, there's a teeny tiny problem with that plan if you do it with things like, I don't know, the Hero's Blade. And that is, inevitably, this kind of effect is going to come back at you.
Oh, that's why you just enchant him with an impetus. Like the Death Touch one.
Yeah. There's definitely a couple impetuses in the list.
Okay.
There's that new one. It's not called an impetus, but it basically is one from the Final Fantasy set. The evil eye or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about, but I did not commit its name to memory.
Yeah. So there's that. There's ghoulish impetus. There's parasitic impetus. Also, an interesting quality, and this is again something that I'm trying to figure out how much gas I want to give to an opponent. But backgrounds, all the black backgrounds say commander creatures you own, not commander creatures you control.
So you could put some indestructible or some card advantage or an absolutely unholy buff on him.
So something that I like, commander creatures you don't have, criminal past, this creature has plus X plus O, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. So a creature has that ability, but that ability does not refer to my graveyard specifically. So these are the kinds of ways that I'm like, what if I make Kane really big on my turn by having graveyard synergies where my opponents may not necessarily, or, Agent of the Shadow Thieves is just when this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a +1 counter on this creature, it gains Death Touch and Indestructible. Kane's always going to get bigger, but also, because you lose life in a Kane trigger, there's a high likelihood that you won't be the one with the highest life total. Now, nothing is otherwise stopping them from attacking you unless you've got this creature goaded. Which, by the way, also leads to a really weird interaction where you can give your own creature the Bloodthirsty Blade.
Ooh.
Because you can give Bloodthirsty Blade only to a creature an opponent controls, but not a creature an opponent owns. You can tell that, something I like about Kane is that I've gotten very good at reading whether or not an effect requires a creature you own or control. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
That enchantment is Eye of Nidhogg for the people at home. We got it. Never didn't have it.
There we go.
It turns them into a black dragon with base power toughness 4/2, has flying, death touch, and is goaded. And then the rest of the when it's put into the Rancor text. Yeah, that looks
something
sweet.
that is something that is a little bit harder to set up. Although I am always on the lookout for ways to kind of make this a bit easier for myself. There's the idea of Assault Suit. Which is, +2/+2 haste, can't attack me or planeswalkers I control, can't be sacrificed. That's the important part. Because then you unlock the ability to give Kane Cultist of the Absolute.
Oh.
which is commander creatures you own get +3/+3, have flying and death touch, ward, pay 3 life, but also at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Obviously, they will just sacrifice Kane if they have that choice. But if you don't give them that choice, then suddenly Kane comes with a big cost. Thanks, friend. Borrow my commander for a bit. By the way, tax was not included on this transaction.
Yeah, that is going to cause some emotional responses.
I don't think I necessarily am going to commit to that because, like I said earlier, I do want this deck to be like fun and flirty and just like a silly good time deck. And if I make it if it's too able to have a large creature that can't attack me or be sacrificed, eat my opponent's things, and kill them all, that'll be a bit less.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to like walk a fine line, but I believe in you and your brewing prowess, and I think that you can serve up a fun experience that still delivers a little bit of all of the, like the fullness of the flavor palette, and, you know, a little bit of salt doesn't go amiss.
It's true. I love salt in my food. Why wouldn't I love salt anywhere else? But moderation is key in all things. So now that I've sort of revealed that I just wanted to talk about Kane being a very silly card, is there a particular legend that you think highlights like that kind of experience where you're like, this is not necessarily a strong legend because we don't talk about those here, but this is like going to lead to like an interesting, memorable, fun game?
I have been racking my fucking brain trying to crack the job select archetype and also play a package of 15 copies of Sid Timeless Artificer.
All right.
This guy is a 4/4 for 2, a white and a blue, legendary creature, human artificer, and artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artificer you control and each artificer card in your graveyard. And a deck can have any number of cards named Sid Timeless Artificer. It also has cycling for white and a blue. So I, with 15 copies of this card, can just yeet these guys into my graveyard and then cast one of them and then probably hold one in my hand on reserve just in case people get frisky, want to blow up the one that I cast. Then this guy makes all of my hero tokens and any of the robots like vehicles that I put in the deck more worthwhile playing by just like buffing them by a lot. If we've got Sids in the graveyard from cycling them, they're getting buffed. If we just happen to have creatures who are artificers, like Stoneforge Mystic is a core artificer.
Famously mid-card Stoneforge Mystic.
Listen, she's a little bit of a loud pack, for sure she is. But she is an artificer, nonetheless, and will buff your artificer count. So I'm just like trying to crack the job select archetype. I've tried it in Azorius under Sid himself, and that one didn't have as much of the like killing intent that I appreciate about red and black mana. So we tried again in Esper with Graha Tia Scion Reborn. And then whenever we cast a non-creature spell, like, I don't know, my Knives with Job Select, we would make a hero token with a +1/+1 counters on it equal to the mana value, and also get the hero token from the Job Select card. So we're like doubling up on the amount of tokens that we're generating, making our dollar go further, so to speak, which works. But the life that you have to spend for the quality of the cards that you are casting is a little sus. So I'm not 100% sure that this is the way. And so I think we're going to try again with progressively sweatier commanders and add another color. So the 4-color build that I've selected is with Cecil Harvey and Barnabas Tharmer, aka Timna the Weaver and Crom Ludovic's Opus.
Got it. Yeah.
And
that's
yep.
a bit of a famously sweaty combo, those two.
And
Old
we've
Blue
got
Farm?
all of the cards that say job select on them. And we've got the Stoneforge Mystics, by which I mean her and Cloud Midgard Mercenary. So that we can find either Sword of Hearth and Home to blink the Stoneforge Mystics, or so we can find knives that say job select if we've already found a way to repeatably buy ETBs. We are doing everything that we can to make this archetype good, and I think we're almost there. We're pretty consistently to a place where I can have like 3 or 4 hero tokens and then cast Sid on turn like 5 or 6 and have a decent buff of like 2 or 3, and that feels all right.
Now, Quinn,
Yeah.
it sounded like you built a deck with 16 Sids in it.
15 Sids.
15 Sids in it. And then 1 in the command zone.
Well, that
Or
one was
just 15
14
total?
Sids.
Okay.
But yeah, it's only
Now,
ever 1 Sid for each art that they have because of the way that I am, despite being able to have any number.
I was going to say, because it says here a deck can have any number of cards named Sid.
And yeah.
Had you ever considered a version of this deck that was just 30 Sids?
I don't think I did, TBH, because they're all legendary and I'm not super interested in breaking the legend rule. I just didn't, because like if you can't do that, it's not super worthwhile to have 30 Sids, because then they're just gumming up your deck. And what are you spending the rest of the deck slots on that's going to be impactful once you've got like a Sid on board? Like, are you like betting the farm on Blightsteel Colossus? Because like that'll get there on its own. You don't need the buff from all those Sids to do that.
That's right, gamers. There's still a window of opportunity for the 30 Sids. Oops, all Sids deck.
Yeah, maybe somebody get that on my desk with that one card that buffs cards for having the same name as other cards.
I feel like, yes, I feel like Mirror Box is going to spike.
Yeah.
Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other you control with you with the same name as that creature and breaks the legend rule. This is, if you wanted to make Oops All Sids happen, Mirror Box and its older, slightly worse cousin Mirror Gallery are 2 Kamigawa cards you should probably look at. Mirror Gallery is $25!
What happened? No.
I mean, a lot of cloning effects happened, but
yeah, that's fair.
that's a non-foil edition, $25. Alright, gamers. Well, maybe the window is closed on Oops All Sids.
Damn.
Sorry to get your hopes up.
Well, shit.
Have you... Quinn, I've noticed something, and I don't want to sound too tinfoil hat here, but there are definitely certain power toughness combinations that speak specifically to design intents that WotC will have. You know, like 3/1 is obviously meant to be an aggressive token creature. Or, you know, 2/3 is like a strong defensive creature, but not necessarily a good attacker. Like, you know, I anticipate that there's a lot of intent that goes behind that kind of thing. But I've noticed that there are 3 legendary creatures that care about other creatures and turn those creatures into 7/5s. Why do you think that is? This is a Sephiroth Fallen Hero call-out post.
I actually fucking adore Sephiroth Fallen Hero. He is on the list for the Blue Farm job select because he turns those modified creatures into 7/5s, which is fucking ridiculous. But why are there 3 and why specifically 7/5s? Because you want it to die, but you want it to fucking hit.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just found it interesting because like Volrath the Shape Stealer turns into other creatures, but also remains 7/5. And Gra's Unstoppable Juggernaut, I thought turned your creatures into 7/5s. It turns your creatures into 5/3s. It itself is a 7/5. It feels like there's something about 7/5, and I can't wrap my head exactly around what that is, but.
This is a creature that is strong enough that it needs to die to... Oh, is there like a flavorful burn spell in the set that does 5 damage to target creature? Is that maybe it?
There are definitely flavorful burn spells in this set. As far as if they do 5 damage to target creature, I don't know. But that is something that can be determined quite quickly. And again, this is going to be a standard legal set. So, yes, there's Judgment Bolt, there's Snort. No, Snort does damage to opponents. There's Judgment Bolt, and then there's Umaro, Raging Yeti, that both do 5 damage specifically. And I'm certain that, like, 5 damage comes up a lot. But I think you're probably right in that, like, I don't see a lot of red burn spells that do 6 damage. So the threshold between 5 to 6 is probably the delineation between creature that is meant to be survivable unless interacting with black.
Yeah, I think that's just design decision.
Yeah.
Well,
and as a complete afterthought, big fan of Sephiroth Fallen Hero.
Yeah, that guy rules, actually. I played him earlier today in the Cloud Precon and got to do the thing that you do in the game and put Genova cells on Cloud and then make him as strong as Sephiroth. And I was just like pointing at the screen like, it's just like the game.
It's just like the game. I am really excited for any opportunity to bust out Luminous Broodmoth.
Ooh.
Which lets you, when a creature dies, if it didn't have flying, it comes back with a flying counter on it. So if you can modify the creature any other way, and then Sephiroth maybe dies, or the creature itself just dies, you can use the Reunion ability to bring Sephiroth back, and then that creature just comes back as a better version of itself, because now it's going to be a flying 7/5. And as we established, many times, but as we established specifically with the Joshua episode, which had no other information in it, don't think about that. Flyers win games.
Flyers do win
Flyers win games.
100%.
Yeah, which I believe is wisdom that I have shared before, that you have shared before. So I think we need to come up with a different wisdom. But Quinn, if you can believe it, it's once again wisdom time.
All right. How about tramplers win games?
A bold, updated stance on the classic tramplers win games. Gamers, give your creatures trample if you can.
Yeah, I'm just looking at another 7/5 summon Kujata, also summon mentioned.
I will say something that I find insane about trample, and part of what ties into the wisdom, I think this only validates the wisdom, is the number of times someone will attack with a creature with trample and the defender will go, well, it has trample, so there's no point blocking it.
There really isn't, though, is the thing.
Like, that is a dimension of trample that to me is like psychologically underexplored that I always just find deeply fascinating, is the idea that like if they can't kill your trampler creature at a level of sacrifice that is not a detriment to them, that keyword may as well be unblockable. Asterisk, barring death touch.
Fascinating math to do.
It's tramplers might win games. Do some research, get back to us, play some games, add some trample to things. Let us know. Let us know if you win those or not.
Hell yeah.
We'll see you next time, gamers.
Later, gamers.
So, I hope you enjoyed that last episode of Smoking Mids, and it will be the last episode for the time being until we figure out what's going on, because Benoit will no longer be doing it with us. He's decided that he needs to kind of re-examine his relationship with magic, and as part of that, he's no longer going to be doing Smoking Mids with us. But Benoit, thank you for helping us out with doing that podcast in a podcast. It's a really goofy, cool bit that we got to do.
Yeah, dude. It's always lit chatting and talking about magic with you.
I'm gonna have to figure out what we're gonna be doing with it, if we're just gonna kind of leave it permanently shelved and maybe do something in the meantime. Because people seem to be really resonant to the Here's Blade vibe check radio show idea. For the time being, though, that will be shelved, and we'll see what we can do with it in the future. That being said, after Benoit freaked the fuck out about how expensive Mirror Box was getting, I was like, hello? And I think I found a couple copies in my collection. I'm like, hell yeah. Also, having ways to just bypass the legendary rule is really just like the worst thing, one of the worst things in Commander I found.
It does make for some very annoying play patterns.
Yeah, like you and your 20 Dragonhawk stack or whatever.
For starters, it's not 20 Dragonhawks, and secondly, my Dragonhawk clones are primarily legendary, so they all enter the battlefield and then die immediately. And thirdly, I think it's literally just like Go-Go and Delina that do the non-legendary sort of copies in that deck.
I will say, again, I do think that like Go-Go is like the best way to handle that.
Go-Go fucking rules.
I still need to get one, but that's
unfortunately Rachel Weeks played him on extra turns, and now I think everybody realizes that Go-Go fucking rules.
Yeah, there's no avoiding that. That's the thing, right? Like being part of like the popular content creation thing. Stonks, my stonks, Quinn. How can I get one? I can't do it anymore. All right, let's go. Let's go into the news or content, I guess, or news and content, right?
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog,
Sonic the motherfucking Hedgehog.
At the speed of sound. What the fuck? I did not expect this at all.
Me either, dude. I really just woke up one day and had pictures of Sonic on Magic the Gathering cards in my DMs and was like, what in the ever-living fuck is going on? Chat, is this real? And then, yes, we got the sauce, the link with the, like, official document, not like document, but like the official press release showing the Sonic the Hedgehog Magic the Gathering cards, and I'm just like, what a time to be alive. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't have, I don't really have much commentary on it. I've kind of skimmed them a bit. Dr. Eggman does villainous choice shit. Amy Rose
just in case you're asking, yes, they all passed the check. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take your word on it, because I'm not reading this shit. But again, yes, that going back to Plaidclad sharing the Street Fighter, or not, well, sorry, it has the Street Fighter boys in it, but the Smash Bros. Game of all 5 of those dudes in it. Yeah, pretty funny. The Smash Brosification continues until Magic improves or whatever. The only thing I will comment on is that Shadow seems a tiny little bit busted with giving spells split second if mana from an artifact was spent to cast it, which is pretty damn easy to do. But as everyone has also said about this, every time you do that, you have to say and shout out Chaos Control.
You do have to shout Chaos Control every time you cast something with Chaos Control, so that's probably a little bit of a downside.
There was, before the generative AI schlock hit the internet, people, of course, were doing the voice acting work of God himself with acting as if like Barack Obama was the president of the United States when Sonic was doing whatever he was doing in like Sonic Adventure 2 or whatever. They're like, Mr. President, can you tell us about the mysterious objects of incredible power? He's like, yes, you mean the Chaos Emeralds. I have one right here. Chaos Control. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. I love this shit. This is fucking awesome. I played a handful of like Sonic games up to this point. Like if anything, I played like Sonic and the Secret Rings from the Wii a lot more than like any other Sonic game. Look that up. It's actually kind of sick.
All right.
But most of my experience with like exposure to Sonic media is usually through the lens of like parodies in some way. So like Snapcube and her crew of friends doing like fan subs of like the Sonic games, which includes Dr. Eggman pissing on the moon and shooting a giant laser at the moon to blow it up.
What?
Oh, Quinn, you're missing out. This shit is great. You should go on YouTube and like actually watch these movies.
Not gonna happen.
Damn it! Fine, I'll send you like a clip. That'll be enough. Then the other one, my only other exposure is like Sonic characters being modded into Dragon Ball Fighters, and then like Lythero and his friends playing Team Dark against like Goku.
Sick.
And then they ended it with like. It was Team Sonic versus Team Dark with like remix of like Sonic Heroes songs in the background. I'm like, hold on, chat, is this peak? And the answer is yes. It's always fucking awesome.
Hello, peak department. I'd like to report an occurrence.
So yeah, I'm more exposed to like people making parodies of this media than like actually absorbing it. Like I kind of remember Sonic X as a kid.
I just think that Sonic and company are extremely cool characters. I don't have a whole lot of attachment to the videoed games. Honestly, I don't know if I get them. I played Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 and I think one of the first like side-scrolly ones, and just like it's just all right to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I understand what like Sonic is serving. But the character is cool enough that I like to look at him and enjoy media containing him.
And apparently,
so,
like the Archie comics run version of like those characters apparently is like peak. But I don't know because I never read it. Like I've seen bits and pieces. I think there's like something where like someone was chasing after Sonic. Was like, oh, you killed my friend or whatever, it's time to die. And he's like, okay, you want to bet? And he's like, you want to see me go fucking full throttle? And then he did, and he like scared the shit out of people because he's like, yeah, don't fuck with me, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the fucking Hedgehog is extremely cool.
Yeah. Also, I know we hold on, no, let's go to you because you do have something that I want to tie into here. So we'll see.
Oh, the content that I've been consuming?
Yes.
Oh, it's the motherfucking Edge of Eternity story, babes. Magic Story Podcast has them all voiced by a professional voice actor. The story's written by critically acclaimed sci-fi author. They're putting their whole redacted into this one, and I'm eating it all up. Magic Story is extremely fucking cool. I think everybody should check that out, and perhaps we do vibes-based storytelling with Empress Quinn next week or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think because it should be wrapping up pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Edge of Eternities, on top of showing off some early preview stuff, which like what we've seen so far is like dip in the pond, still very cool, but there is an upcoming change to the commander rules that they let us know ahead of time, like when the set officially comes out, that you will be able to have vehicles in the new artifact type as commanders. Which, what is the new one called? I can't remember.
Spacecraft,
yeah. So they're doing, we're in space, but not really, but we are. We're going to be doing...
What do you mean, not really? We literally are.
No, I know we are. I know it's basically space. It doesn't matter how you spin it. And of course there's gonna be like Eldrazi and shit. So, we gotta have our like potentially like Eldritch Abomination encroaching on reality thing. Like that's what we're here to do. It's fucking space. So yeah, we are going to have. I think someone said that there was like not that many vehicles being added to like the amount of commanders being added, like new commanders. Like what was it, like 30 or 40 or something? Like,
yeah, I think Kristen did an article about the legendary vehicles that are available to be your commander once this update goes live, and how they're kind of just all right.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of compelling commanders in there so far.
I am. Again, this is something where I was like, yeah, cool. Like, all right, no big deal. Not really a vehicles guy to begin with. And I'm already running like Megatron, and maybe in the future I might be running RC as like a commander.
Yeah, that's my job. I'm the resident vehicles babe.
Yeah. So like this isn't like really affect me like a whole lot or anything like that. But until we see more of these like spacecraft cards come out, or stations or whatever they're called, to see like what
It's spacecraft.
Okay. We're probably expecting multicolor spacecrafts, so that will kind
I
of
sure hope so, yeah, because otherwise, the thing that we've seen so far is just the Surema, a mono white legendary artifact spacecraft for 1 white. And when it enters, you search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. And it's got Station, which is kind of like Crew. You tap another creature you control, put charge counters on it equal to its power. On the spacecraft, Station only is a sorcery. It's an artifact creature at 7+. This particular one has Station 7+, so that lets you know that. And then flying and other tapped legendary creatures you control have indestructible, and it's a 5/5 once you've activated the Station ability enough times. This one, I guess, is pretty cool if you're into the mono white legends, which we all know that I am now, so I'm into it.
Yeah. I think like since this is just early preview teaser stuff, like I'm not really terribly excited about it. If something else comes up that's like really cool, my attitude will definitely change.
I'm just like Stoneforge Mystic pilled, and getting the Sword of Hearth and Home with Stoneforge Mystic is a play pattern that I enjoy. So this kind of thing lets me, like, you can tutor for Philia so that you can blink the Surema, so that you can tutor for Vana and find other mono white legendary creatures and be annoying like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, that being said about Edge of Eternities, what was the like Solar Free Company or whatever the fuck they were called?
Oh, dude, yes. I think that is just that, the like Solar Free Company. They are the Summist religion.
The Sunstar Free Company.
Oh, okay.
So there obviously it's gonna like be it's sci-fi, it's science fiction bullshit of like everyone's got like cool titles, or there's like some pretty out there and pretty like esoteric concepts of like, yeah, there's black holes and there's people that like worship the black holes in this area.
I'm raising my hand enthusiastically. I cannot wait to be a void worshipper role player.
And then like, you know, there's gonna be like fucking void dragons and all this other fucking shit, right? Cool, great, awesome.
Where did you see that?
Did you not see? Okay, look, I'll send this image to you. Give me a second.
Literally go find that image because I need to see a void dragon. I'm already into Space Whale. I'm fully bought in, but there's void dragons too, bro.
Well, I'm pretty sure this looks like a fucking void dragon.
Whoa, you're so right. That's a void dragon, all right.
I'm surprised you didn't know about this. This was the shit. I was like, hell yeah. Okay,
Raymond Swanland, you snapped. I need to see this in foil. I bet that looks sick.
Fucking hell yeah. Like, let's get
For the people at home who are just listening, this looks like a dragon that's like formed of nebula and has a black hole where its eye would go, with light like swirling around it and the swirling nebulae clouds, and this dragon is like red and shining on the edges. It's so fucking sick.
So yeah, like we got this probably space cult that's around monoism, which I don't know what the fuck that means. It's probably about math. I don't know. I'm kind of just skimming the wiki here to be like, what the fuck is this stuff? There's like monks and doctrine.
I read enough of the fiction that I can explain that to you. Their belief is that the purpose of a system is what it does, and the universe, the system of the universe, it creates black holes. It takes matter and it turns it into black holes. So they're like, okay, who are we to interfere with that? In fact, we should shape this so that all of these black holes lead to the same next eternity, because their belief is that inside of black holes there's new universes being born. It's part of the life cycle of the
multiverse
that they're in. So they want to birth their perfect future, and they have this process of concatenation and feeding stars miniature black holes to help collapse them into black holes and connect those to their next eternity, the perfect eternity that they have planned for. And they want all of those to, like, everything become black hole eventually.
Okay, cool.
And
so then
all of the black holes lead to the same correct place.
Right, okay. So then the Celestial Palatinate, which has...
Their goal is to increase the bright sum.
Right, so they want to shoot the black holes to become planets again or something?
It's... According to one of the Solar Knights, it's simple math, really. Their goal is to extend the dawn, and eventually, if we run out of material to make stars and sunrises, then there will be no more dawns. So their mission is to, yes, take this dawn javelin and shoot black holes with enough energy that they vomit out the stars, and they're reborn.
Okay, first of all, I understand that they're dogmatic. They're probably going to be Boros, and there's probably going to be some zealotry. But also, they're
yes.
called the Sunstar Free Company, and that shit sounds fucking awesome.
I encourage you to consume the story any way that you can, because both monoism and the sumism have extremely cool, like, theology, and I'm drinking that shit up, dude.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Space religion? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Solar Knights? Like, I don't know who this lady has been that we've seen in some of the early artwork, but she looks fucking sick.
I think that's Squire Hylia and maybe her knight Servandum.
Okay, but yeah, I'm looking forward to see what that fucking I'm looking forward to the whole thing to come out before I, like, take a look into that, because I'm just like, looks cool. Very much my thing. Very into it. So yeah, new commander changes. Seems neat. Sonic the Hedgehog, cool. I came across that old video, this old deck tech video that I did with Crow of Children of Lara.
Nice.
Where it was a DMC / Virgil themed deck about Ishin Two Heavens is One. And it involved a lot of, like, fusing things together and reanimation and using equipment that has, like, attack trigger stuff and all this. Yeah, it's a little inspired, but before some card making things, like Card Conjurer, was taken down, I was using it, like, pretty much every day, trying to do, like, alternate art stuff, and putting in, like, DMC artwork on cards seemed like pretty cool. So that was a fun little video from, like, a couple years ago.
Nice.
Then Am I the Bullcast? Mike and Morgan are back doing episode 2 of their mailbox stuff. So they're doing interviews one week, and then they're doing mailbox stuff the other week, which I think is really cool to keep the pace going. Boy, this one was a fucking doozy to listen to. Holy shit. Folks, read your cards and understand the rules to the best of your ability, and don't be a fucking piece of shit about it.
Yeah, they explain the card right on the card, actually, usually.
Yeah, pretty... It was funny listening to Mike just be like, you know what my fucking pet peeves are? Let me fucking tell you what they are. And you're like, oh my god, here he fucking goes. It's not very often you see Mike pop the fuck off like that, but it was very funny.
Hell yeah, dude, we love a tirade.
Also, Mike might be in BC in like a month and a half or something. He might be here. He might live in BC. You might see Mike and Cole magic shit. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll find out.
What? All right, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. And then Laz from Brew Review made a Zergo deck, which this motherfucker is fucking slandering mono red by saying it sucks. And I'm like, all right, it's time to go fucking kick Laz's ass again. But yeah.
Show him the meaning of red mana.
Yeah. So, great episode. I admittedly have not finished all of it yet. I am totally behind him getting like wrestling cards to be the warrior tokens that get mobilized out. Like that seems super sick, doing like this whole like wrestling theme. But also, yeah, Zergo Thunder's Decree, with the second text saying during your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. That could be pretty huge. And when they talk about doing like shadow clones on warrior stuff, like that also seems like fucking awesome. Totally there for it.
Yeah, for sure, Zeus. That's the move.
And yeah, I think that is it for content. I don't think I've had anything major come up on my end since. Let's go into Brews Off the Shelf.
All right. Let's start with Homegirl that we mentioned in the vibe check section. Vina, Heart of Heidelin. Truly, no brew like Spike Brew.
Okay, all right. Explain thyself.
Yeah, so about that, haters saw the card for Vina during spoiler season and were immediately like, oh, this fucking sucks. What the fuck am I supposed to do with it?
Oh, for God's sakes. Yeah.
Mono White Legends ain't got no synergistic through lines. They ain't got nothing that they're holding hands on. They're just a bunch of individually good cards, and that's not enough to be the basis of a deck. And you know what? All of that before even fucking brewing or playing with the card really fucking got to me.
All right. You and me, grasping hands, spite brewing. Let's fucking go.
So we set out to prove gamers wrong. I had been doing a bunch of draft on MTGO, as per usual. So I opened the showcase version of Vina and was like, perfect. I will put this together and see what happens. So I'm flipping through my collection on MTGO, put a bunch of legendary permanents in a pile, do the thing where you like cut out the less impactful ones for veggies and make sure you've got enough of the things that you need for the deck to be a functioning like deck, and then took it into the MTGO queues. And it worked. It played a pretty effective game there. I was doing the +1/+1 counters and life gain and turning creatures sideways. I've got Dion Bahamut's Dominant in the 99 to fucking help close games out by sending everybody into the air and putting +1/+1 counters on them. We've got Micaeus doing the +1/+1 counters thing. I have big Mommy Elish Norn Grand Cenobite here to do like 4 Glorious Anthems in a trench coat. I've got Avacyn to make my guys really hard to remove. We're just playing classic mono white aggro. The Audric Lunarch Marshal is here. I've got all of the bullshit white card draw. There's Mangara the Diplomat. I've got the fucking the Sheep. Enduring Innocence. There's the enchantment that welcomes Takesha's Welcome. Like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing as a mono white mage, and my like sneaky card advantage thing is the initiative here. So I've got Sarvok's Tome, and Chimil the Inner Sun is also a sneaky card advantage thing in that the free spells are good more at 11.
I want to get a copy of that so bad because someone tried. I was playing it in I think of my Dion deck on Arena, and someone tried countering whatever. I don't know. They're like, wait, my counterspell didn't work. Why? Shamil sitting in the corner just fucking like, yeah, what's up? Hacker man, just fuck you. It's good stuff.
So yeah, I really like Shamil. I like to put that in like everything that I really just like don't want to be interrupted. I play Shamil. And also just like a place where you don't have a lot of card advantage otherwise. I think cards like that are good. Things that just like give you free spells on like timing sort of thing. So that is very good for that sort of thing. Sarvox Tome giving you the initiative is the same sort of thing. Additionally, Buster Sword in that same category of free spells good, more at 11, it's card advantage. And this one actually draws a card too. So if you have a thing that you didn't like want to cast with your mana, you can have that in your hand and cast it with the Buster Sword, or you can draw something and cast that. And then it's like ramp and card draw, and I'm big into that. It's been extremely impactful every time that I've played it. I don't know how it fares in like higher brackets, but in bracket 2 it's pretty stably. I feel like you should probably be considering that.
Well, this is there's a lot going on here. Like, it's a definitive like bracket 2 deck. You're not doing anything that like hasn't been done before. But like at the same time, it's like you got all the right tools and you're fucking playing Elish Norn and whatever that. You fucking flip over fucking Brizella, the fucking voiced nightmares and blah.
Yeah. Speaking of them, actually, I had a fucking sick game in the Legendary Creature Podcast Discord where I had an opponent on River Song and she had the Hero's Blade equipped and there's a Colossus Hammer sitting on the board. So I'm just like looking at that setup, looking at the Sarvox Tome in my hand and thinking, how bad do I want it? And we decide that we do want it bad enough, and it's going to be an investment. So I do that. I cast the Sarvox Tome. I take the initiative. I take that big 6 damage. I get that plains to my hand. And the thing is, I know that if opponents want to attack me, if they deal combat damage, they are also forced to take the initiative. So if we go any further into this game, they're taking 7 minimum. And how worthwhile is that?
Yeah.
And I did that math, and apparently my calculations were correct because I did just sit on top of the initiative that entire game and did not take an attack until extremely later, where the pilot of the River Song deck was like, all right, fucking, you've had it too good for too long. I'm sending stuff at you. But by then, I've already got my mono-white game plan set up and was able to fend those attacks off and keep the initiative. And we just keep moving through the Undercity, steadily marching forward. I'm accruing initiative value, I'm deterring attackers. We cast our legends. We end up with an Aerith Gainsborough on the battlefield, a Zach Faer. We've got Gisela and Micaeus. And Elspeth Resplendent is like just chilling there. She's the one who found me Aerith, actually, with her ability. I put Aerith onto the battlefield with a shield counter and was able to use Aerith to gain a bunch of life and block what would have been a lethal attack to her. So we got to put some counters on her when she gained that life and then just like keep advancing with my game plan. Opponent cast a board wipe and I was able to just like sacrifice Zach Fair, put his counters on Gisela, and then when Aerith dies, she also put her counters on Gisela because she got indestructible from Zach Fair. And then Giselle's just like a huge flying first strike lifelinker continuing to sit on top of the initiative for me. So we go to the Throne of the Dead 3. And with all of that, guess who shows up but fucking Bruna the Fading Light? So we floop that into play, we meld Brizella, and she's every bit the win condition that she's designed to be. My opponents are fucking crushed. They have looked at my mono-white game plan with my life total ballooned out of control from my large life linkers and the Brizella that they cannot cast spells through, basically. And they're like, you know what? You've got this locked up. GG's.
Yeah, it is pretty hard to comfortably get out from underneath a melded Brazella when like most of your removal that you're looking for to get rid of this damn thing is 3 mana or less, and just it's like, as someone who's done it to I had to do it to him, to other people. It was pretty brutal. I think I did manage to flip them in that Quende deck before I cracked it apart once upon a time, because I got first strike and gave them double strike. Fucking scary stuff. But yeah, this is rough stuff for your opponents.
I got the concession there before we needed to activate Vina's activated ability to like transform her. But if we did get far enough that we needed to do that, in addition to having Brazella on the battlefield, then her Blessing of Light ability gives the Brazella indestructible until my next turn, and just another layer of fuck you. You cannot interact with this meaningfully.
Yeah, no, this is rough stuff. Quick question just for me. Is this list in paper or is this only on Mox?
This one is just on MTGO. I could print this out. I feel like that would be like not a bad thing to have in my library.
The only reason is because are all these versions like the exact printing on MTGO?
Yeah, it is
okay.
1-to-1 the deck that I have on MTGO.
Okay, because I really do got to shout out the Innistrad remastered alt art of Audric Ludark Marshall. It's a pretty piece of cardboard.
Hell yeah.
I still need to find his. I got one and I knew I needed to put in a deck, and who knows, maybe I can glean something from here. But yeah, there is a lot of cool tech that Mono White's been getting the last little bit, and it can be like, if you played it really to like Mono White strengths, it can be stupidly really strong. But I think you're doing just enough of the right annoying amount of stuff to like keep it ahead, but not oppressively like busted.
Yeah, I think this is a Mono White deck that can get invited back.
Yeah. Yes. They were like, you know what? You passed the vibe check, Quinn. Thumbs up.
Hell yeah. Motherfucker said the deck didn't have the sauce. They said I couldn't do it. I showed the haters. Dab on them.
Not much more to say. Also, really, if anyone really like doubted you, I would call them a fool. Like, I don't know. Every time that I've chatted with a bunch of people who are like, listen, if you are in the orbit of Empress Quinn, you will be influenced in one way or another to respect the coolness of like whatever you are making. Like, someone's like, oh, Magic's cool. Like, you said you were like, oh, I'm doing this thing in Commander, and someone was like, oh, so Commander's cool again? I'm like, Commander's always been cool, and helped by Empress Quinn. So no brainer. But yeah, cool stuff. I love how, I mean, you and I both got into like Mono White brewing recently, but
yeah, Dion is extremely hot.
Yeah, Dion's cool. Let me not talk about Dion for a bit. Let me talk about Clive.
All right, yeah, tell me about him.
Because, we're obviously talking about Final Fantasy stuff. So I put the deck together. I haven't had a game or done any testing yet, but I like what I'm doing with the deck so far. Obviously, very permanent focus. That way, when Clive enters, you draw cards equal to your devotion to red. So
you just like hella red pips. We're fully maxed out on red pips.
Yeah. Could I be more saturated on red pips? Yeah, probably. But I got stuff like Power Balance for the double red.
Oh shit, dude, you're on that card actually rips.
Oh yeah, no, this card is fucking awesome. I've gotten a counter spell off of it when it was super duper clutch. Someone was like, you don't have to cast that counter spell. I'm like, no, I actually think I have to.
No, but I'm going to.
No. And
I'll
then
do the Fire Crystal. Hell yeah, I love.
Yeah, had to get Fire Crystal in there. Expedited Inheritance was one that I'm like super eyeballing. Like, what are we gonna do with this here? So, for Murders of Karlov Manor, we got a double red enchantment that says whenever a creature is dealt damage, its controller may exile that many cards at the top of their library. They may cast those cards until the end of their next turn. I am thinking that depending on how I can leverage like damage effects to like my opponent's creatures, that I could just like quote unquote mill people out. Using like Clive to like flip over, hit something for 9. Maybe they don't get to use the spells like because they're under that time pressure part.
It's a May though, so I don't know how often you're going to be able to like, do that lethally. Yeah,
all right, fine. It's here
this.
just for the double red pip, I guess. Fuck me. Reading the card explains the card here.
It sure does.
Brutal. All right, but other than that, the focus is.
I think it does synergize with your damage-based board wipes though, so you're not like it's not nothing.
Yeah. At least for like if I want to piggyback off of it. But yeah, like because we're in mono red, we want to do mono red card advantage things. And while Clive's obviously offering pretty good investment, he is still 6 mana, so we got to have some other stuff out in play if we need to.
Yeah, you can't just rely on Clive. And I see you've got one of the best Chandras, Chandra Torch of Defiance, who's a Sisei's Ring and a Phyrexian Arena that shocks your opponent. She's perfect, and I love her.
Yeah, I was like, all right, if we're going to focus on permanence, I do have this Chandra and I do have this Zariel, Archduke of Avernus. That way, if I have her out, I can do her. One of
my other favorite red planeswalkers.
Do that +1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain haste until end of turn. So what I was thinking is flip Clive to Ifrit, deal damage with the fight, +1 Zariel, make him 10 in haste and go sideways. Sick. Honestly, I'm just kind of like putting in a bunch of like mono red bangers in here. Classic Anger. We got Cavalier of Flame. I think Flamekin Herald really fits in with this deck, because Clive's 6 mana and we can get some pretty decent hits off of him off of that. And they have the Eternal, Torbrand Thane of Redfell, Urbrest the Hidden, Terror of the Peaks, Sunspine Links. One of my favorite cards that I just always keep having around for mono red brews is Soulbright Flamekin. It's a 2-mana 2/1, I believe originally from Laurelwind, that just says, pay 2, target creature gains trample until end of turn. If this is the 3rd time this ability has resolved this turn, you may add 8 red mana to your mana pool. Oh
yeah, spend 6 to get 8, it's fine.
So you could have just generate that mana, flip Clive over. Okay, maybe he loses the trample on the thing, but all that matters is we're using that mana. We're spending them dollars on stuff. And yeah, just a few. I could probably be more heavy on the ritual thing, but I think between like the cost reduction and the red pip focus, like I think we're able to just comfortably bring him out, get my mana advantage thing, and then probably still be able to casually pay for that 6 mana to transform him, while also just bringing the beats via, Inferno Titan, giving a menace with Frontier Warmonger, whenever I'm discarding card, Flamekin, Magmakin Arterialist, to just start dealing damage, Lightning Mauler to be there to see him re-enter as a Freed and then give him haste, when Clive's on the front side, Kargan Intimidator, Cowards can't block warriors, and then choose one of the modes.
Classic rules text.
Also, this is one that I think Cody, I might be wrong, but Cody got me on Donna Noble, or maybe I am misattributing, I can't remember here. So, Donna Noble, Doctor Who mentioned, 3 in a red for a 2/4 human with Soul Bond. When this creature or another unpaired creature enters, you may pair them, and they're paired as long as both of them are out and as long as you control them. When Donna or a creature it's paired with is dealt damage, Donna deals that much damage to target opponent.
She's perfect for Ifrit's fight mode.
Yeah, so just go pew, pew, pew. I should probably see if I can find like a Chandra's Incinerator too, but honestly, I'm just going to work with what we got here first before we start making any changes.
Get some playtests in with this and see how it runs before you go adding annoying cards like Chandra's Incinerator.
But you also like playing Chandra's Incinerator.
I literally only have that in one deck. I actually don't like playing it.
Why not? Because it's a logistical nightmare trying to keep track of where the damage is going, and if you're dealing
it's an annoying card.
Nah, this card is sick. Come on. All right. But so yeah. Also recently, because I opened a couple of them, I slotted in the Mightstone and Weakstone. I won't
Yeah,
be...
that just says draw 2 cards or kill a thing with 5 toughness. Like, it's literally fine.
Yeah, and being able to use the Power Stone mana to transform Clive is fine.
Oh, you're so right. That does... Yeah, that works.
Pay to equip, I don't know, Swiftfoot Boots, or Ember Cleave, or Chainsaw, or
Cast a Ruby Medallion with it.
Cast a Ruby Medallion with it. So we got options. The Mightstone and Weakstone's kind of like been on my radar for a bit since I opened a couple of them from that Brothers War box. And working around that Power Stone like criteria is actually not that hard to do as long as you have an outlet for it. So yeah, I think I'm going to be trying to get some reps in next week after the second wedding. Yeah. So yeah, Clive, what a cool guy. Final Fantasy 16.
Hell yeah. Have you gotten to Flip Clive yet?
I haven't played the deck yet. Oh wait,
Yeah,
well
but,
hold
like,
on.
in other
Wait,
decks.
hold on. I in the Sephiroth deck, I did actually do it once.
Nice.
think-
It feels really good.
I think I flipped Dion a couple times. I did Clive once. I don't think I've hit Joshua yet personally, but I really am looking forward to it. I did want to mention, maybe we'll go in, like when I talk about Sephiroth, like one of the games that I had, but someone else made a Joshua deck in the play group that I go to, and I will go on record that his Joshua as the Phoenix on Chapter 2 dealt over 40 damage or 36 damage or some really high number. I think it was in the 40s. It was pretty ridiculous. Like, he's like, cool, Chapter 2, deal 2 damage to my opponents, except actually, wait, let's check all the stats. And it got out of hand really quickly.
Damn. They're just like stacking damage multipliers with the whole point of the deck being, I'm going to kill you with shock.
Uncivil unrest. So it
Yeah,
just says
triple
whenever
R.
something deals damage, not just combat damage. And then what's her freaking name? Tai Joaquin, like maxed out for like 9 mana investment. Just start fucking just boom explosion. Yeah, we did not win that game. I'll say
Of course
that.
not.
Just nah.
Because, like, not only are they doing 50 bajillion damage, Phoenix is lifelink, so they're time walking you, like, into eternity.
Yeah. So yeah, not pretty cool to see. Glad that it ended the game, you know?
Yeah, for sure, Z's.
All right. What else you got going on?
Great question. I have a birds.
Birds. Yes, of course.
It's so annoying that these links aren't like blue and underlined.
But
the
if
way
you
they're
hit,
supposed to be.
but Quinn, you're supposed to hit enter.
I literally did that, and it doesn't do that.
This is what the fuck. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Google Docs. Get your fucking shit together. Anyway. So, you're playing Choco Seeker of Paradise.
Yeah, so this is literally this deck brought to you by MTGO Playpoints and Final Fantasy Limited, because I probably would not give fucks about this card if I didn't spend time drafting a bunch of Tempest Hawks from Dragonstorm and the Chocobo like precon from Final Fantasy Limited.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had all of the pieces, and then we saw the commander in a pack and was just like, all right, well, might as well scoop that up for big shopping for commander purposes. It was actually fine in limited, except it got killed immediately. In constructed, though, I have access to more protection spells, which you can see in the deck here. The whole game plan is just like play birds, protect Choco, put lands into play, and profit.
Sacrifice
that
all
walk
material
back.
wealth to Choco.
Yeah. Deck construction. Yeah. So I wanted to just like do the thing that I do when I'm playing green and hit every land drop and multiple land drops. So we've got just like all of the additional land drops technology, a bunch of feature sites, there's a bunch of birds. We're on, I think, 8 copies of Tempest Hawk. Nope, 10 copies of Tempest Hawk. Nice.
You're like, yeah, I do have a non-zero amount on this list. It's great.
Yeah. And then just like everything from the Final Fantasy set that cared about birds or chocobos. And then the Bloomborough birds that care about non-flyers. We played a bunch of those in there. And then Tempest Hawks are birds that draw birds. So, of course, they were a natural conclusion or inclusion. The Chocobo package is fucking incredible. The like face card, the girl, her, is Traveling Chocobo. It's a future site, so I can look at the top card of my library at any time and can play lands and cast bird spells from the top of my library. And if a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So all of the Chocobo tokens have the whenever a land enters the battlefield, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That just doubles that. Choco herself has that ability, so that'll get doubled on her. We've got minor or Harrier Strix, who when it enters taps target permanent. So we've got the Traveling Chocobo, that'll get doubled. Bloomcreed Mentor is one of those flyers that cares about non-flyers. That would get doubled. There's just like all sorts of bullshit that happens twice when you've got that set up. We've also got the Roaming Throne because this is MTGO and you need to
fight for your fucking
harder.
life. My God, yeah, no, the needs and demands of MTGO are obscene.
Yeah, speaking of needs and demands of MTGO, my tinfoil hat is not quite the size of Texas that it is in Felix 5 Boots because this deck can just like put so many lands into play that I can kind of ramp through the haters. But if I'm not interested in doing that and I'm saving a couple of key permanents instead, I've got the package of Restoration Magic, Tamiyo Safekeeping, Tyvar Stand, Lazotep Plating, and Flare of Fortitude with a counterspell-ish backup of Dazzling Denial and Sink into Stupor. And all of those are just like, please don't touch my birds. And if you can protect them, this deck feels, frankly, pretty fucking unfair in bracket 2. You just curve out, you cast Choco on turn 4, you swing with like 3 birds or 2 birds or whatever. You look at the top 3 to 4 or 2 to 3 cards of your library, or however many birds you've got. Whatever the math is at that point in the game, figure it out. But you look at those many cards, you put lands into play, you can put one of those into your hand. Ideally, it's going to be a bird so that you can cast that. And you just spiral out of control, and it's really hard to meaningfully interact with the amount of land ramp that I'm doing. You could play something that's like sacrifice down to a certain number of lands if you were like a balanced kind of gamer, except that's not a card that we play around these parts.
Yeah,
so if you come through with the like mages of the balance or whatever, like if you were interested in mass land denialing these chocobos, even that I don't think is the answer, because if I know that that's a thing that I have to worry about in the metagame, then I just play a Splendid Reclamation and bring all of those lands back, or I step dodge it with Heroic Intervention, or I keep ramping through the haters, and like if you're only touching my lands and not touching my birds, then I'm just going to swing with Choco, probably at you, and barf more lands into play with her ability. Like it's really hard to meaningfully stop that value engine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried that in bracket 2 with this construction that I've posted here, but we also tried it in bracket 3 with the allotted 3 game changers, I think, of Heuristic Studies, Smothering Tithe, and then probably one other white card that I'm not thinking of. And then we also added the token doublers because I don't usually play those, but if you are in bracket 3, it feels a little better. So yeah, we did that, and then Chocobo Racetrack is also just like the star of the show here. Whenever a land you control enters, you make a 2/2 green bird creature token with the Chocobo text of landfall, get +1/+0. So if you're playing Choco, you're swinging with your birds, you're putting lands into play that triggers Chocobo Racetrack to print out more birds that you attack with next turn, to put more lands into play to trigger Chocobo Racetrack to print out more birds, and that spirals out of control and kills your opponents. I'm on the Wind Crystal and the Earth Crystal, so if I've got any +1/+1 counters, those are getting doubled, and the Wind Crystal, or the Earth Crystal itself, will let you put some on the guys. And then the Wind Crystal, my non-flying birds now get flying, and then the lifelink to give me essentially extra turns really helps close things out. So yeah, the deck is solid, and you can play that at 2 brackets, it feels like. I'm not putting effort into playing a bracket for Choco, don't at me.
Yeah, I just find with all the decks that I built and the way you and I like to play that it's just so sweaty to do bracket 4. It's just too much effort.
Yeah, I'm not bothering with that.
Well, unrelated. This is like the minute you started talking about Choco Racetrack, the only thought that I had in my head was like, damn, Zendikar's Royal got power crept. This
is Zendikar's Royal.
5 mana enchantment, 2 double green, landfall. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 green elemental creature token.
Yeah, they were like, hey, what if we did Zendikar's Royal, but it made Chocobos? And then everybody was like, sick, sign off on it. Also, this is an artifact, so you can find it with Fabricate.
Oh, that's so fucked up. Oh. Yeah, no, this is, I do have to appreciate the effort, though. I mean, I feel as if you couldn't do this Chocobo archetype unless it had Baird synergy. But the landfall thing really does fucking push this whole thing over the quote-unquote edge. But
yeah, landfall is a pretty hard strategy to interact with, and these just extremely take advantage of that. It goes pretty hard.
Yeah.
Shout out to Black Chocobo, one of the stars of the Chocobo pack. It's the backside of the side quest Raise a Chocobo. That just like enters the battlefield and makes a Chocobo for 1 and a green. And then at the beginning of your first main phase, if you control 4 or more birds, you can transform the enchantment into Black Chocobo. And when this transforms into Black Chocobo, you search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. It doesn't even need to be a basic. They just give you whatever the fuck you want, so it might as well be a Gaia's Cradle if you're a Sweat Lord. And then whenever a land you control enters, birds you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Not even this bird, just birds.
Just birds.
Control.
Yeah. So
Black Chocobo will fuck you up.
If you've been assembling your Tempest Hawk army, like, it's like, cool, they will now kill you, die.
And if you've got your traveling Chocobo, you go to combat, you barf a bunch of lands into play. Black Chocobo says all your birds get a bunch of +1/+0 until end of turn. Traveling Chocobo says do it again. And then they all have their own landfall fire breathing ability that goes off. Like, it's dumb.
Honestly, say what you will, but this is like a good way to make it all like coherently mesh together pretty smoothly.
Yeah, all of the cards do talk to each other very nicely. They put together a very sweet birds deck in the Final Fantasy set, so I'm glad to see it realized here. I would also like them to maybe print a Gruul inclusive version, so that I can play the birds deck with like Choco Comet. So like give me a Naya Birds commander in the future.
Yeah. But
much to think about.
But I don't think we'll be seeing any Gruul bird synergy. Wait a minute. Dragonhawk's a bird.
Dragonhawk is a bird, so that's another.
You know what? Hey,
towards,
Watsy, can you get
Naya
on that?
Birds.
Please.
Or give me a Naya lands commander, and then I will force the bird synergy in there, and they will hold hands with the Kavu from Edge of Eternity, who look like they're going to care about lands.
Yeah, I guess we just gotta wait and see what else is going on in that set.
It's only a matter of time.
But also, hey, wait a minute. Birds aren't really space worthy.
I mean, like, yeah, they're not, but like lands is a thing that is probably going to be explored in the set.
Oh, yeah, no. It definitely will be for sure. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, that's the tech that we're looking for, basically. And then maybe they give me a Nile Lands commander that I can shoehorn the birds into.
So yeah, cool. Bird it up.
Hell yeah.
I just
what you got for me?
remembered one last thing about the Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy XIV collab that happened when World came out. So people who did raids in Final Fantasy XIV got to face against Rathalos, and then we got Behemoth. But one of the other things too was that a random ass crystal was found by a bird monster in World, and it was basically like a giant dodo, like it's just a flightless bird, and it picks up the crystal and it grows in size to like double its size. You're like, what the fuck? And then it just smashes the crystal over your head like a fucking bludgeon. Just fucking bang. Ding, ding, ding. Fucking get knocked the fuck out. And then you're like, cool, I fought this bird more. And then the crystal's like, hey, bird up. And it grows again. And you're just like, this bird is too big. Why is Big Bird here? Why is Big Bird here fucking killing me with this fucking random ass crystal, you know? So yeah.
That's a fat chocobo.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy to see, and unfortunately you can't repeat the quest, which is like actually the biggest bummer because it's just so fun because the fucking chocobo theme was going on in the background for the entire fight. And you're like,
that's so important.
You're like, this fucking asshole is fucking running off with the fucking crystal again. God damn it. So yeah, Final Fantasy still going strong even after all these years.
Hell yeah, dude. Get that wark, make that wark que.
Okay, so I'm back again with Sephiroth Fallen Hero. I know you're tired of this guy, but hear me out. I was trying to figure out how to mesh the modified theme of all of the summons, which are considered modified because of the
lore counter.
The lore counter, thank you. And then having equipment to meet the criteria of the other modified stuff. But unfortunately, that shit really is just too hard to figure out to like mesh together if the commander doesn't really help out with that and only just cares about them just kind of being there. So changed gears. I took the equipment core out of the deck and decided to shift gears and focus on more historic cards, more recursion via reanimation flicker effects, and also ways to keep my summons alive and out. So we have Getaway Glamour got put in. This card continues to surprise me. It is from Thunder Junction, 1 white with Spree. For +1, you can exile target non-token creature and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. And then for another +2, or for +2, destroy target creature if no other creature has greater power. I need to save something, 2 mana, get it out of there until the end step. Probably be like anti-board wipe or other further bullshit. Or get something out, flicker it, destroy something else because it now has the biggest power, and then have that thing re-enter. Someone mentioned Luminarch Aspirant for their Sephiroth deck. So they've been combat on your turn, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Congratulations, your Luminarch Aspirant is now a 2 mana 2/2 for all intents and purposes is now Sephiroth when it attacks with him. I originally had Ian the Reckless on the first version of the list and I wanted to put equipment on him because when Ian the Reckless attacks, if it's modified, you may have it deal damage equal to its power to you and any target. One of the things I wanted to do and it still really fucking slaps, is that Ian turns sideways of Sephiroth. He becomes a 7/5. He snipes something for 7 damage. I get hit for 7 damage. And then I probably also hit someone for 7 times however many bodies of damage. So it seems like an okay trade-off there. Arbaz Mirror got in because of the increase in permanence. Obviously, creatures are one thing, summons are another, but they're creatures anyway. But they're considered historic for the sake of just dealing 1 damage to each opponent and me getting 1 life. And because of the Flicker sub-theme, it now really synergizes together. We can keep Arbaz out with, I don't know, summon Brynhilde or whatever and just keep flickering them as appropriate.
Yeah, that seems good.
So I did take out Esperama from the last time that we talked about this deck. Because
unless you're on Wizard Typal, he doesn't do a whole lot. And even then, it's like, is this really what I want to be playing in this slot for 4 mana?
No, and like just the other chapters are just like not great. Strixhaven and Aftermath are coming back real strong for this. Reconstruct history of being able to return up to 1 artifact, enchantment, instant, sorcery, and planeswalker from my graveyard to my hand. Pretty good. So that's pretty much any single one of the summons, and whatever else I'm doing. Campus Renovation, return out to 1 target artifact or enchantment card from my graveyard to the battlefield, exile the top 2 cards in my library until the end of my next turn. I can play those cards, which is pretty great. Nahiri's Resolve, just reflicker your summons and reset them as appropriate.
I love that enchantment so much.
It does cool stuff. I put in Graha Tia on kind of the top end because I did want a bit more kind of selective card draw. But because creatures, aka summons, would die on their final chapter, I get to draw a card off of it, which feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think that they must have thought about that.
Yeah. Continued shout outs to Yojimbo and
that
Ixion
guy.
for doing fucking exiling and getting rid of stuff. It does the work. And then
my queen here is summon Kujata on your top end here for 6 fucking
mana. So cool.
Oh man. 7/5 trample haste, ETB on chapter 1, deal 3 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures.
I understand it's a 7/5, so it's not affected by Sephiroth, but also
Doesn't
fuck you, it's a
matter.
7/5. It's so good.
She was literally built to like help close games, it looks like, and she absolutely does that.
Yeah. Summon Primal Garuda surprisingly does a lot of work on just chapter 1 and then 2 and 3 for support. Dealing 4 damage to a tap creature, not inconsequential.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that dies to 4.
That usually kills something of yours after you've attacked me.
Yes, but...
And then being able to give something flying and +1/+0 until end of turn, yeah, it does the work. It does the thing. I had to get some Doctor Who cards in here.
So you're on Tegan Yovanka to give your summons indestructible on +1/+1 until end of turn when they attack. Nice.
Yeah. And then Ian Chesterton, which was a card I opened from like a pack, or maybe I slipped out from someone else's pack when they're like, yeah, I don't want this guy. 2 and a white
replicate.
For a 2/3. Each Saga spell you cast has Replicate. The Replicate cost is equal to its mana cost.
So it's kind of a big turn, but if you spend 8 mana, you can have summon Esper Valagarmanda and a copy of Esper Valagarmanda.
Yeah. Or get 2 summon Girlfriend Ifrits out.
Do a lot of card selection. Spend 8 mana for 2 Yojimbos.
2 Ixions. I mean, God, 2 Yojimbos. Say no more. So yeah. And then Perry Brown being able to say the first historic spell you cast each turn has Convoke. So if I'm not into attacking with Brynhilde, if it's still out, for example, being like, cool, I use Brynhilde to pay for, I don't know, Ixion or Garuda or whatever. So there's a bit more flexibility. Add in Dazzling Theater and Prop Room to kind of keep that up. Everything just is able to be utilized to feed into something else. But we are a Boros deck, and one card that kind of flew under my radar initially, Bannon the Returner's Leader. Legendary creature, human cleric rebel. So for all you rebel fans out there, I don't know, does this matter? Let's find out.
One Linsipy gamer.
Red and white for a 1/3. Flavor keyword prey. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature card from among cards in your graveyard that were put there from anywhere other than the battlefield this turn, or have discard effects, so it's not unreasonable to do that. And then whenever you attack, you may pay 1 and discard a card if you do draw a card. So simple utility player. I was just looking for ways to get more card advantage going on in this deck. That just seems like one of the ways to pitch a low mana value creature, get your beats in, pay the 1, discard that thing, draw a card, cast that thing afterward. And as usual, we got a shout out connecting the dots. This thing fucking got me a bunch of cards throughout the last game that I played with this. I think you got 6 or 7 cards off of it. Seemed pretty good.
That's a whole new hand.
And it's pretty damn good. So yeah, in general, this version of Sephiroth seems to be doing a lot.
Fucking explain this 5-mana sorcery, Bond of Discipline. I'm hissing.
Oh, hey, I love this card, Quinn. Don't you love this card? This is a 4 and a white with a sorcery that says tap all creatures your opponents control. Creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn.
Ugh.
What? What's wrong? What's wrong with it?
It's fucking tapping my guys, and you're time walking my efforts with all this lifelink.
And
No.
depending on depending on the player order, because you may not be the next person after me, other people might be attack you as well.
Yeah, if I went and then you go after me, then you cast a Bond of Discipline, tap down everybody's stuff, and I have 3 whole ass turns of getting fucking wailed on.
Oh, so good. Love this card. It is, I do consider it like a personal staple in like aggro decks like this, because I gotta get in there, Quinn. I gotta get in there. I gotta clear the path. You can't get in my way.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, I like these changes. Feels a lot more coherent. I feel like I'm getting a lot more game actions in. The only thing that I can comfortably say is that Sephiroth has not really shown up to the table since these revisions happened, because everyone else is doing such a good job by themselves. But my God.
That's fine. That's a good mark. Or that's the mark of a solidly constructed deck, because the guy is literally just Crater Heaven the command zone, and if you don't need him, then you don't need him. It's fine.
Yeah. That being said, also Blind Obedience. Hey, yo, let's go.
Ugh. Of course.
All right. So that's it for me. I think maybe I should look into getting that Luminous Broodmoth for this deck because of what Benoit mentioned in the last Smoking Mids episode. Just,
Yeah,
hey,
I think Luminous Broodmoth and Sagas is pretty sweet.
Yep. Okay. I think we got, maybe 1 or 2 more for you?
Yeah, I have the last, real one, and then just Ani Menchie's after that.
Okay. What the
Alright.
fuck is this? Explain thyself.
So I had a post that I did the other day of just putting miserable cards on my desk in a pile together just to feel something. And we were literally doing that, just piling up a bunch of Esper control bullshit and a bunch of planeswalkers. And ultimately, we had the Catgirl Supreme herself, Y'shtola, Knights Blessed. And she was inspirational enough that I was just like, all right, you know what? We're just gonna... It's about that time of year anyway. I have this thing that I do basically once a year where I just completely from scratch build a deck with cards on my desk. I did this with Kess several years back, and then Teneb the Harvester, and now Y'shtola. So that's where the impetus for building that came from. There's just I think it happens around the time that people are going to conventions. There's something about that just puts me in the mood for a limited deck with busted cards that I have from being an enfranchised Magic the Gathering player with an extensive collection. Kind of like what you would put together with the swag stuff that you get at conventions and availability of the vendors.
Yeah.
So it's just like that kind of thing. It's limited, but it's busted.
Yeah, that's putting it a little mildly.
Yeah. Thing about me as a gamer, though, is that I really like aggro and combat game plans. So when I'm acquiring sealed product and singles, the cards that fit those contexts all end up in decks. And the stuff that ends up on my desk is the stacks pieces and control elements and most of the planeswalkers.
This is why I gotta keep killing planeswalkers, Quinn.
So
You
do
do this to me. Why did you make me do this to you?
She is, unfortunately for Cole, the perfect Esper Control commander for the way that I want to play Esper Control.
God damn it.
I love that she advances the game state meaningfully via the reduction of life totals while you're still doing your game plan of playing Control. And all of that means that the game is steadily marching towards an actual close instead of playing Control and not having a way to, like, reduce people's life totals along with their will to play the game.
Listen, if I make a Y'shtola deck, it's fucking over for you all. It's fucking over. You will not survive.
Yeah, you gonna come through with a Catgirl Control deck too?
No, I'm not.
No, you're gonna come through with Catgirl Knives.
No, I'm joking. I'm never doing that. No one in their life, including me, needs that. But I guess between the two of us, someone's got to be a certified villain and drink from that cat girl bathwater juice or whatever.
That was a way to have phrased that.
Mm-hmm.
I will indeed be drinking deeply of the poisoned chalice of Catgirl Control, though. So that's where we are. Deck construction. I was a spreadsheets ass bitch when I built this deck. I got all of my cards on my desk, and then I put them into categories for the functions that they provided, and I applied the numbers of those categories that I felt would be appropriate for what I was doing to the deck, and then made it all happen. This is 99 cards. Did I not add what's his name?
Was there one that like you took out accidentally, or
refresh. No, it was on purpose.
Was Norn's decree put into your sideboard accidentally?
No, that was on purpose. We cut that so that we could add the addition from the Benoit, Ajani Strength of the Pride. Because this guy has the mode of 0. If you have at least 15 more life than your starting life total, exile Ajani and each artifact and creature your opponents control. So we can just like, that's a bit of a condition.
And each... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Benoit recognized that the deck's intent was to be a little rude on purpose and came through with an appropriate recommendation. And we happened to have one of these in a binder because it was just like didn't have a place for it until now. So we ended up playing it. We wanted to make sure in deck construction that we had like the ramp, the card advantage, some token generation, more card advantage, and the section that I call 9 of my very best friends. This is the package of 8 non-negotiable planeswalkers that we included from the beginning of deck construction stage, plus a Ajani of the Exile board wipe that Benoit recommended. And these just rude bitches, and a couple of cards that are just like, I wanted to play. So we've got Ajani, Caller of the Pride. We have Jace Beleren. We have Narset, Parter of Veils. We have Ajani, Strength of the Pride. We have Teferi, who slows the sunset. Ashiok, Nightmare Muse. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Elspeth, Sun's Champion. And Teferi, Temporal Archmage. Just a bunch of control classics on Elspeth, Teferi. Narset's a rude bitch. Jace Beleren is a little bit of a like, relief from all these hateful Magic the Gathering cards. And then I am hissing again with Ashiok.
I am hissing and spitting at you. What the fuck is this? What is this?
I had 9 cards that I wanted to play, and we had a reason to play them finally. So we put them all in the same pile, and we also made sure to include some cat synergy. Shout out to Light, who reminded me that Y'shtola is a cat, so Arabo the First Fang is an appropriate card in this deck. He is a lord for cats, and whenever Arabo or another non-token cat you control enters, you make a 1/1 white cat creature token. So I'm on Leonin Lightscribe, who does the Magecraft. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So I can get in there for beats with my tokens. We've got Sky Knight Squire. He's just a guy I think is cute that I opened in Foundations, so I wanted to play him because he's also a cat.
He's also a cat, yeah.
Another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and as long as he's got 3 or more counters on it, 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has flying and is a knight in addition to its other types. And we also have Brimaz, King of Oreskos, because he is that motherfucking dude, and showing him the utmost respect.
Yeah, he still does a lot of work.
Yeah, Brimaz absolutely still gets there. He's a 3/4 with Vigilance. Whenever he attacks, you make a 1/1 white cat soldier creature token with Vigilance that's attacking. And whenever he blocks, you make a 1/1 white cat soldier creature token with Vigilance that's blocking. So your man is here to do the work and provide bodies for your cat-based game plan, and he serves Y'shtola perfectly. I've also got removal on my creatures in the form of Murderous Rider and King's Assassin. Murderous Rider is a non-creature spell on its adventure side that triggers Y'shtola, which is why I was pretty juiced to include that. And then King's Assassin is just a real bitch of a rattlesnake. Activate only on my turn before attackers are declared means I have to maneuver so that if the thing is tapped after having hit me or whatever, then I can kill it, or I tap a thing first and then kill it with that. We gotta do a little bit of a dance, but it's neat. We've got Real Sarael Kingpin because she is a way that you can win the game in a control deck. Shout out to the initiative. It is incredible. The Council of Four is a fucked up value engine.
Fucking hate that card.
Yeah, that's fair.
I can't, Fitz was like, why are you mad at this card, bro? I'm like, first of all, Fitz, you're the one playing this card, so that's problem number one. But second of all, every time I have gone against a player that plays the Council of Four, they're like, oh, group hug, draw extra cards. I'm like, the amount of value you're getting out of this single card by giving everyone else the resources is fucking ridiculous. It's through the roof.
It truly does imbalance the group hug, card draw addition of resources. It tips the scales in your favor dramatically. Another thing that I did to take advantage of my pornographic amounts of card advantage was a Starving Revenant to help close the game. This guy has the Descend 8. Whenever you draw a card, if there's 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So just like a BB Shelley. And then when it enters, you Surveil 2, and for each card you put on top of your library, you draw a card and lose 3 life. So you can actually use this to put 2 cards on top of your library, draw 2 and lose 6, and immediately have that Y'shtola trigger activated, so you can go to your end step and draw a card because somebody lost at least 4 life.
Yeah, this is pretty gross.
I have what is extremely funny to me. Luminous Rebuke and Seized from Slumber are literally the same card. They're 5 mana instants that cost 3 generic less to cast if they target a tapped creature, and they just say destroy target creature. So it's a 2 mana kill spell for a tapped creature, and I get to have 2 copies of it, and it's very funny that they are literally the same card.
Yeah. They really do be making them like that.
It's also in it triggers Y'shtola when I cast that, even for the discounted cost, because the mana value is 5, which is why we were particularly juiced to include that. We've also got Gush, a 5 mana instant that you can cast for returning 2 islands you control to your hand instead, and it's just draw 2 cards. But I think being able to cast like a Seized from Slumber and trigger Y'shtola and then follow up with Gush to do 2 instances of her burn damage to my opponents, you guarantee that somebody's lost 4 life at that point, so you go to your end step and draw.
Yeah. It why did they make her like this?
Why did they make her like this?
Why every time? One of the things that kills me is like I get the need to have powerful cards or have. I understand the need to have like powerful, busted, and broken stuff in any type of game, right? And Magic is obviously no different. But one of the things that really tilts me over the fucking edge is that WotC's like, oh yes, the power gaming players are starving. Let's give them another annoying fucking card. And I'm like just shaking my fucking monitor, like, stop giving us crack cocaine in cardboard form. Stop it, please. The gamers, think of the gamers. And it's just, everyone wants the sauce, you know, like that's what they want. And it's freaking really annoying to deal with.
I don't know what to tell you, babes. They keep printing banger fucking threats, which means the interaction for those threats also has to get good. And the control engines for your just like value engines have to get good.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's really annoying. Okay.
So with all of this bullshit, how am I winning the game once I've controlled you into a fucking corner? Well, I have control win condition Queen from Theros Beyond Death, Dream Trawler, my beloved.
There you go. Okay, so you got your card. You got it. You figured it out.
I have a couple of these, actually. So there's Dream Trawler. She's uninteractable, basically, with her hexproof, and she gets fucking stacked whenever you draw cards, so she's perfect for this pornographic amount of card advantage that I've got. I also have Brain Stealer Dragon, who is exiling the cards from my opponent's library and letting me cast them, and if permanents enter the battlefield under my control that are stolen from my opponents, it burns them for the mana value. So that helps move things along and also is just like more card advantage. And the thing that you really like when you're in the corner as my opponent against me on control, you really just like don't want to see me drawing more opportunities to remove the thing that you try and set up to escape my grasp. And all of these like card advantage engines make that more difficult. And the top end here is Archon of Cruelty. She's you know her, the flying 6/6, and whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, and loses 3 life. And I draw a card and gain 3 life. It's fucking brutal. I also have Zombie Infestation. As a way to turn my card advantage into bodies, I can discard 2 cards from my hand and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into play.
I love this card. I really do love it.
I think it's really good. We also have Sanguine Bond, so whenever I'm gaining life from Y'shtola's Y'shtola's cast triggers, I can turn that into burn damage against opponents. We also have Batterskull as another sort of win condition. That's like a control mage classic. I just wanted to like have that feel, basically. It's like you stick a Batterskull, it's your large life linker. You can bounce back to your hand for whatever value and print out another germ token and just like it be annoying like that. And then Bolus's Citadel. That bitch closes games and is allowed in my point spread, so to speak. The point spread for this bracket 3 deck is the Narset Parter of Veils, the Bolus's Citadel, and Smothering Tithe. Those are my 3 game changers.
Yeah. You know, when Narset got bumped up to be considered a game changer, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm okay with this. But
she really is exactly that. She's fucking
But I
gross.
always, whenever I see a Bolus's Citadel, I'm always like, yo, what is this sus fucking bullshit going on here? What are you going to do?
I'm literally just turning the amount of life gain that I have into mana, and then when we are down to a point where you are 10 or less life, I can activate Bolus's Citadel and kill you decisively.
One of the things that I have noticed the last few episodes that we've been doing, Quinn, is that you have been espousing anti-life gain and all this other stuff, and now you're like, now that I've done that and planted the seeds, I will now go on my life gain equals extra turns bullshit and do this for the next few weeks. And they're like, oh wait, let's also put temporal manipulation and Karn's temporal sundering in the deck to actually have extra turns. Explain thyself. No, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing here, but like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Part of the construction of this deck is I opened a box of Mystery Booster 2 last year and had from that box a Bant control deck that just was miserable in a way that I could not inflict on my friends. And so I took a portion of those cards and adopted them for this deck. And we did end up with a, like, air quotes, miserable Esper control deck, but I don't think we went as hard as that Bant one. And some of the most important cards that we opened in that were the Future Side Frame Temporal Manipulation and the I don't know where this Karn's Temporal Sundering is from.
Dominaria
it's
United?
Just on my desk. Not like the set,
like the printing.
Like the context in which I acquired it.
I don't know, Quinn. At this point, I really couldn't tell you where I got like 90% of my cards. I just kind of go shrug and be like, I'm pretty sure I bought it, but I might have like either had it been given to me or like I absorbed it from someone's collection, you know?
I try and remember a lot of those things because I have room in my brain for it.
Really? On top of all the other magic you got in your brain? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Manescape Refactor. I wasn't sure about it, but it turned out to be kind of an important card for this deck. It's a 3-drop mana rock that enters the battlefield tapped and has all activated abilities of all lands on the battlefield, and you can spend mana or mana of any color to pay the activation costs of its abilities. So I can take advantage of all of my opponent's busted lands, and in my pre-con ass mana base, I have all of the bounce lands that are on color. So this is just another copy of a bounce land, which ended up being crucial for my mana development in this game. And it's a 3-drop mana rock that taps for 2, and we all love Worn Power Stone. An extremely busted thing that I did with bounce lands in this deck, though, was cast the Teferi Temporal Archmage with the couple of bounce lands that had come in tapped, and then I use his -1 ability to untap up to 4 target permanents, and basically made enough mana off of that untap that Teferi was free, and I could continue casting other Esper control bullshit.
Yes, oh wow, we broke Teferi Temporal Archmage. Good job, Quinn. We've done this before. We've been here. We've done it.
Yeah, good card is good. More news at 11, but that's the point of the deck. I put a bunch of miserable good cards in the same pile, and they work well together. Gameplay experience here, though. Actually, it worked exactly as planned. We draw a lot of cards. It enables us to find our removal or our hateful cards, and we played against some homies and casted on creature spells, did the burn damage. We turned the excess card advantage into bodies with zombie infestation, and then used the bodies that we had generated off of that to help close the game out. And then feedback from my opponents. Damn, didn't know we were life gaining like that. Should have packed my own.
Yeah.
Other feedbacks from opponents was, yeah, that was literally fine right up until that bitch Narset showed up. And you know what? Fair.
It's like, damn, Quinn, why you cooking so hard? God damn.
So yeah, I am comfortable, I think, showing this to more people, given the feedback wasn't like, never play that again. So perhaps Cagro control at a table near you.
I am not looking forward to it, but I guess I just have to bring the heat.
Yeah, I mean, when you actually like count it up, the interaction density isn't that deep. but the
no.
pornographic
But it's just,
amounts of card
it's-
advantage
it's
that I
the-
can use to
it's all
find
the
it.
it's all the proactive stuff that's going on. Yeah. No, I know. I'm just sitting here shaking my head because like whenever I see decks like this, the only thing I think about is I'm like, God, I am going to be whittled to death for an extended period of time, and it's gonna fucking suck the entire way.
That's why I tried to include a bunch of things that would let me decisively close the game with combat, like the zombie infestation and the other bodies, and Marauding Blight Priest to whenever I gain life, each opponent loses a life. So we're just like, I'm stacking all of these effects up to try and ensure that your life totals are going down while I'm controlling you into a corner.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'll just have to actually sit down in the game and actually see what's going on with this. But I am looking at you with narrowed eyes.
As you should be.
Because what in the goddamn?
Bracket 3 cat girl.
Yeah. Do you want to do the honorable mentions now, or?
Yeah, sure. We basically tested some decks with Final Fantasy Commanders and made no other changes to the decks. Just wanted to see what they performed like. I did a Grixis Madness deck a few years back with Armix and Crom. So we just swapped out Armix and Crom. We put Crom in the 99, put Kefka in the command zone. He functions basically the same as Armix, but on a different axis, is like providing a removal engine for me. Kefka's removal is like proactive because you just like, you can't cast a spell against me if it's not in your hand, and he forces it out of your hand.
Yeah.
And it is basically doing the same thing that we wanted Crom to be doing, whereas like refilling my hand once I've discarded all of my Madness spells, because that's my game plan. I'm discarding cards that say Madness to Kefka, you're discarding whatever the fuck you have, and I'm getting those cards replaced and also casting the spells with Madness. He's literally perfect, and it's thematically appropriate because his whole like theme songs, laughing mad and like dancing mad on the other cards, and yeah, like it's Kefka, it's perfect.
No, they really did. They really made. I don't know, everything about a Final Fantasy in general when it comes to like the flavor of the cards and the mechanics about the cards, like it really fucking works. Like they did a good job.
The other honorable mention is for my Prismari Storm pile. We swapped out Zaphi Thunder Conductor and played Tella Great Sage. You have to dance a little to answer their different asks because Zaphi's just wanting to see the mana value. I spent the construction of that deck on sorceries that would hit the level 5 Magecraft trigger but could be done so for less than 5 mana, and Tella wants basically the opposite of that. He wants to see the non-creature spells of like 4 and above, but he wants you to have spent that mana on them. And you can make that happen, you just need to like we said, dance a little. And Tella adds hard card advantage for the non-creature spells 4 and above, where Zaphi's just card selection, and Tella giving me a body on every spell versus Zaphi only giving me the body on the level 5 Magecraft trigger. Just makes it easy to do the game plan of token spam and then spells Crater Hoof with like Surge to Victory or Candlekeep Inspiration. I also played a game where I had Tella. He made like 4-ish heroes, drew me 4 cards, and then ate a Chaos Warp into Vadrik Astral Archmage, who I decided was my commander for the rest of the game.
That's pretty disgusting. That's pretty gross.
It just, blue-red spells doesn't fucking care who its commander is. It doesn't matter.
No, it's like you play a Simmet deck, you're playing a Simmet deck. You play an Izzet deck, you're playing an Izzet deck.
Yeah, basically.
What was the thing that I had a thought about? What is that triple red and X spell from Kaladesh that targets artifacts and creatures? And then
Indomitable Creativity. Yes, and yes. That's a different deck list. It's Tella and his 11 Horrible Sons, and it's my blue-red polymorph deck that used to be Baral and Kari Zev. I literally just took Tella, put him in the command zone, and the deck is better.
Yeah. And also this the mention of like hard card advantage versus card selection, right? So
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that Kristen made an article about powering your decks down to like bracket 2, or just ways to like power your decks down in general. So I guess forgot to mention that in content. But one of the things that she said that really just does it is like if your commander doesn't fucking breathe and you just get obscene amount of advantage out of it, which like in comparison, like Tella is still like pretty moderately like fair, right? But like things that aren't giving you just hard card advantage, ramping you, tutoring for stuff, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah, she's like, hey, if your commander is giving you ramp and card advantage in the command zone,
how about you fuck
not
off?
Bringing that to bracket 2.
Don't do that, you know, like, So yeah, it's just that like Tella being that bump up from Zephi like makes sense. The same way that like just kind of because we're mentioning here like Kafka doing what Armix and Crom kind of wants to do, except like there's a bit more of a coherent strategy with it, and especially with like
it literally just staples the two cards together and does the removal slightly differently.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, and because we're in this environment of like the hyper saturation of Magic, and there's a bunch of legendary creatures at every set, and of those legendary creatures, like what do they do? And so you see a Simic one that does all right, you play a land and draw a card, woo fucking who, and you're like, wow. Wow, Simic is just so cool, right? And it's like someone mentioned or pointed out that in Morrow's teaser for Edge of Eternities that there is literally just play a land, draw a card. And I'm like, everyone's like, oh, watch out. Oh, I anticipate a Simic card.
Everybody keeps saying that that's going to be a Simic card, and I just keep pointing them to Null Profusion, the 6-mana black enchantment that reduces your hand size to 2, but says literally whenever you play a card, draw a card. It doesn't have to just be a Simic thing, gamers. Black mana's allowed to be bullshit too.
That was from fucking Future Sight or Planar Chaos or whatever. That shit doesn't count.
Doesn't fucking matter, dude. We did it again with Infernal Sovereign.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess we'll see. But we'll
see indeed. I genuinely think that this could be either a do-over of Null Profusion or a reprint of that enchantment entirely.
Guess we'll have to see. But yeah, Tella. I mean, after seeing Tella show up in Final Fantasy IV, which
did you get the part where he casts Meteor yet?
I haven't played that shit since like the last time we talked about it. I had this whole thing set up. Like I set up my controller, hooked it up to like one of my old phones. I got the PSP emulator going. I had like you know, like those gooseneck like cell phone holder things. Mm-hmm. I had that strapped over my fucking bed, which Light was like, "Congrats, Cole! You'll now have your phone fall out of the clamp and smack you in the face like an idiot." And I'm like, "Hey, whoa, hey, that's not gonna happen. Let's relax." I didn't keep playing it. I did, however, see Tella call what's his name a spoony bard and smack him with his staff.
Fuck yeah, that's all you need.
Which was pretty great. But yeah, Tella's a cool card, making bodies and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I talk about Dion?
Is this the part where you tell me about Dion?
This is the part where I tell you, after you told me about Dion.
Okay,
that
I want to see your take on it. All right, cool. Oh man, this guy is so fucking cool.
Anyway, so now I'm pretty sure I have 4 copies of Dion now, because every time I'm like, I want a copy of Dion. Now I want a copy of Dion in foil. But what if I get the alternate art? Yeah, like let me get that one, and then I'm like, oh shit, I got 4 Dions now. What do I do with all these Deons? Well, I definitely had to
Keep
make
putting
a
them
Deon
in the 99 of your go wide aggro decks because he literally does just say spend 6 mana to try and win the game.
Yeah, this guy's pretty fucking nuts. So, if you know him, you'll love him. But Dion makes a knight when he enters. Knights and him have flying when it's your turn. And you can pay 6 mana to flip Dion at sorcery speed into Bahamut, Warden of Light, which is fucking cool.
Because dude, have you met him in 16?
I did not get that far yet, and I wanna see it happen because it's fucking
He's
cool.
so cool.
It's so fucking cool. All right, so but anyway, so let's look ahead a bit further here. So I knew that I needed to take some decks apart because the number of deck go up, but now we're still pretty much exactly where I was the last time I talked about this. I'm still at 38 decks. Whoopsie daisy. Hey Clive, what's up? What's good? So I knew I needed to shift gears a bit. I took apart Quinn and Aldadon Sky for this, and I think the final result of this, as of right now, is pretty okay. I got some bling printings, I got some foil stuff, I got some step dodges, I got some flicker effects where I need it to be, and I got knights. I got knights out of the frickin' wazoo. I have Piercesteel Paladins in, surprise, a knight, and I got a handful of equipment that cares about multiple creatures attacking. I've had this copy of Scale Lord Reckoner in the background that cares about whenever dragons you control are targeted by a spell or an ability that you destroy target non-land permanent they control.
We are going full Dragoon.
So, I was looking at that Estinian card. Cody was like all on board of making this guy before he went off to make Erdbart or whatever the fucking dude's name is. That's also like a black white character from Final Fantasy 14. I was like, well, okay, so if Cody's doing this Dragoon, let's focus on this. But hey, let's put in Protector of the Waste and Icing Death and Aldadon Sky and Scalard Reckoner to have like this sort of dragon sub-theme, because you got Sylvia Brightspear that doesn't have her partner Corvath Brightflame, but she has double strike, she's a knight, and dragons your team controls have double strike. So if you flip over to Bahamut and you go to attack, hey, double strike, let's go.
Sick.
And then kind of just outside of like having some like removal or protection stapled on a body, like Fiendslayer Paladin to have that pro black and pro red from spells your opponents control, Mirren Crusader pro green and pro black, Protector of the Waste entering or becoming monstrous to exile up to 2 target artifacts and enchantments controlled by different players, which is all super fun and dandy.
Nice.
But then we got knights that like protector stuff, like Guardian of Faith to phase out any other creatures I control. We got some card draw, a la Welcoming Vampire, notably not a knight, which is fine. Esper Sentinel, notably not a knight, maybe not as fine, but it's Esper Sentinel, and I get some puts and
it's
plus
a
one counters.
soldier, so you're on thin ice, but you're fine.
And then SRAM is in here because of that shifted equipment sub-theme that I brought over from Sephiroth, because I was like, I need to do something with this, and Pierce
Knights really care about equipment.
Yeah. Then we kind of take a look at the other spells that I got going on here. Blind Obedience.
White Auracite mentioned.
White Auracite, yeah, that had to go in there. We do not get an O-Ring Mana Rock and not put it in here, and it's also Final Fantasy cards, so this makes sense. Blind Obedience. Like, look, our commander does not offer us ramp, and it does not offer us card draw, but it does provide a bunch of bodies that we can use to kill people. So we want to make sure that we can have people be cleared of the way so we can kill them with my giant fuck-off army. We got Chivalric Alliance, so whenever I'm attacking with 2 or more creatures, which is very often, I'm drawing a card. You
gotta get me one of those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that seems like the kind of thing that I'm trying to do. Attack with 2 or more creatures, absolutely, babes.
It also kind of very much like Zombie Infestation, although you got to put more mana into it. Pay 2, discard a card, create a 2/2, white and blue, night creature token with Vigilance, which is like, yeah, I'm pretty okay with that. That seems pretty good. Then Far Traveler, early on, I can flicker Dion to make more knights if I'm attacking, because I'm sure as shit is attacking with my flying army.
Hell yeah, you are.
Then later on, flicker like my Acclaimed Contender or my Bossery's Lieutenant or Knight of the White Orchid if I'm falling behind. Probably not, but you never know. Flicker Silverblade Paladin to reallocate the Soul Bond Double Strike. Flicker summon Yojimbo because this guy's got to be in here. Are you freaking kidding me? Flicker Protector of the Waste, so on, so on, so on. Thalia's Lancers in here to tutor for, I don't know, the Wind Crystal.
Is it any legendary permanent?
It is literally any legendary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You go tutor for the Wind Crystal and try and win the game, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so good. We have like some traditional and like some non-traditional quote unquote ramp. I think I had Restoration of Iganjo in here, and I think I'm getting another one, so I should be putting it in here. Get to the Estates to make sure that we got planes in hand, because we are more likely than not to be behind, because we got those filthy, greedy green players out there.
I love your land tax. That'll even give you cards that you can discard to Chivalric Alliance, which I think is a pretty good synergy.
Exactly. We, as part of the shuffle up of these decks, I got a land tax be part of this, so we have several different ways. If we don't see one, we kind of see the other kind of thing. They're also the fancy bling printings, which woohoo. Getting a non-zero amount of lands out is pretty common because, hey, Sword of the Animus is in the list, and I think between stuff like Hourglass of the Lost, Heraldic Banner, the Pearl Medallion, the Wind Crystal, Catcher's Monument, White Auracite, and so on, we got enough like pretty consistent ramp to keep churning out knights consistently. And with a handful of ways to have card advantage via the Chivalric Alliance, to Casey's Welcoming Vampire, we're able to keep, and like the Pure Steel Paladin with a handful of equipment that we got ways to like keep card advantage going, where people are like, now hold on a minute, you can't keep fucking doing this bullshit. You're mono white. You're not supposed to be drawing this many cards. And then Storm Beacon Blade and Glimmerlens, because based off our conversation from last time, I'm more likely than not than attacking with more than one creature, and Knights care about equipment to some degree. And if Sephiroth wasn't going to be doing it, Dion and his crew are definitely going to be doing it. So we kind of got all the quote-unquote kind of like staple-y stuff in here to make a good foundation, and then have Dion and crew kind of pick up the slack. But we also got to make sure that we're protecting our stuff in some way, shape, or form. Otherworldly Journey, Reflicker, Dion, Rebuff the Wicked, counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. More often than not, I found that like spot removal is pretty consistent in some of the games that we end up playing. So sometimes just being like, hey, I'm going to kill Dion. How about fuck you? Because sometimes Mana Tithe ain't really going to be enough to cut it. So this was sort of my random look through my boxes. What do I got? Oh, hey, check it out. Fight as one is also another way to like give stuff a human and non-human indestructible. And kind of with like the human/dragon split, I think there's enough to be able to have two targets for this at one point or another.
Yeah, for sure. You can give your big beater indestructible and then Dion and then get in there for combat.
So one of the games that I had recently, the Wind Crystal was doing its thing on top of, actually you were there for that game as our honored fifth person a viewer. This is over on the Legendary Creature Discord. Oh my god, that game was really taking way too long. Everyone in that game was keeping each other in check. It was late at night.
Wind Crystal ended up being a game warping permanent in that
as
game.
Other people are fucking like, copying the Wind Crystal. Like, please.
The Wind Crystal, copy the Wind Crystal. The entire game revolves around possession of the Wind Crystal and the ability to activate it.
Oh, it's just like my video games.
Call me Golbez, the way I'm trying to catch these crystals.
So yeah. So it's just it just kept going back and forth. So we reached a point that we're just like, you know what, like, I feel as if we've all like been tapped out mentally. We're tapped out physically, spiritually, physically again with our decks. Like I think we've reached a point of no return. Gentleman's agreement, let's just call it. But the Wooden Crystal really is that motherfucking card every time that I've seen this thing. So I do look forward to leveraging it and using it a little bit more effectively in the future. And I don't know, between like Dion being able to pay 6 to get 2 chapters of buffing your board on the back of like the Wind Crystal also could be like super backbreakingly busted when you're trying to wrap up the game.
Yeah, you do like one turn of activate Dion, you go to combat. The next turn you activate the Wind Crystal, you go to combat. You balloon your life total out of control. Dion buffed your guys too. Like, it makes it very hard for your opponents to come back from that.
And then yeah, like again, maybe there's a little bit, it feels maybe a little bit too stapley and maybe a little bit too safe. Like, it's a Dion deck, you're playing knights, you get what you get kind of thing. But I think I've maybe added a bit enough sauce of my own to kind of keep it from the herd a bit, and it still has enough, at least interesting enough gameplay pattern of like, okay, the goal is get an army out and go nuts. How do I go about securing that victory in a definitive bracket 2 deck? Like, where's this bracket 3? It's only just 1 tutor. I don't know. It's pretty low. It's pretty like, it has major glaring weaknesses, which
you have no game changers. You have an extremely normal combat-based game plan. You have literally only 1 tutor and Thalia's Lancers, it looks like. Like, this is completely inoffensive. I would not, like, if you come to the bracket 3 metagame with this, they will probably cast cards in your face that will make you wish that you had stronger interaction or a stronger game plan. And yeah, that'll suck. I think that this is squarely bracket 2, and that's okay.
Cool. So yeah, that's it. I've joined the ranks of Dion's Dragoons because this dude is cool and the card is cool, and I do like cool cards, so here I am.
Hell yeah, dude. Hashtag dragons are cool. Hashtag dragonfire dive.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it for decks for this episode.
Yeah. I guess this is the part where I paste a scary amount of text into the Word document.
Oh my god, we're approaching 3 hours of recording.
Listen, we don't have to soapbox this week if you don't want to.
No, you have not been bringing soapboxes to the table, and I have been avoiding doing it because you haven't. It is your turn.
Okay. Let me find this fucking doc and then.
Let's hit that elevator music. Lay it on me.
Okay, yeah. So I want to talk about insurance.
Yes, go on.
So here's the deal. I heart aggro. We all know this. But aggro has the tendency to gas out and then get blown out by board wipes. And you need to have a plan for that. An insurance policy of sorts. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So we're going to talk about ways that you can do that. And this is primarily for the Rakdos girlies. If you have access to Bant mana at all, you have options that result in you still having a board at the end of whatever interaction spell you're facing. You got the fucking step dodges in white and green, and you can just fucking counter the spell and like off the stack in blue. So like, if you've got Bant, you're fine. If you don't, this is for you. Let's get into it. If you can't protect your investment, then you gotta recoup it. So we can do this in a couple of ways, being that the addition of cards to our hand or the replacement of the bodies or the reduction of life totals. And what it like boils down to, I guess, is like replacing the bodies one way or another, or making the wiping the board so ruinous that you don't need to be able to replace the bodies. So let's talk about adding cards to hand. There's permanents that say whenever something dies, draw a card. I think High Society Hunter is my favorite of these right now. She's a 5 mana, 5/3 flyer with whenever a non-token creature dies, draw a card. And whenever she attacks, you can sacrifice a creature. And if you do, put a +1/+1 counter on her. And then that just like it gives you the opportunity to put her dies trigger on the stack and draw cards, but as well as her just sitting there and watching all of the other deaths happen, and she'll draw you cards for those. So if somebody gets cheeky and wipes the board and kills all your non-token creatures, then you get to draw cards when all of those die together.
Pretty good
enchantment.
card.
Yeah. Enchantment version of this effect is like Dark Prophecy. That lets you lose a life and draw a card whenever a non-token creature dies. Erebos Bleak-Hearted is another sort of like in between. He's a creature and also an enchantment. We just want to like ensure that we're diversifying the way that we are investing in these so that we're never fully like ass out. And speaking of diversifying our investments, we want to also be able to do this with cards. With like spells that let us trade bodies for cards. Plumb the Forbidden from Strixhaven is a really good one at this. It's an instant for 1 and a black, and you can, as an additional cost to cast that spell, sacrifice any number of creatures. And when you do, you copy the spell that many times. So the base text of that is lose a life and draw a card. And if you additional cost sacrifice 5 creatures, then you copy the spell 5 times and ultimately lose 6 life and draw 6 cards. And
it's pretty good. I've gotten in a few decks that I haven't played recently, but as a good way to just be like, oh, whoops, that's happening. Cool. It's time for me to be ahead of the curve and get rid of the stuff before you blow me out.
Yeah, if somebody's going to cast a Wrath of God, you might as well draw some cards about it. So just sack your board to Plumb the Forbidden and draw a bunch of cards, and then you'll be fine. Another sort of version of this is Warhost's Frenzy. That's an instant for 2 and a red, and it's got the kicker of 1 black mana. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn, and if the spell was kicked, whenever a creature you control dies this turn, draw a card. So this is kind of the thing that you want to prioritize casting when you are attacking, and then you can turn blocks into drawn cards and also buffing the guys. But in a pinch, you can still just rip this for 4 mana in response to a board wipe and draw cards when your guys die.
I love this card.
I think this is one of the coolest cards in a deck that I just straight up borrowed 1-for-1 from Andy, formerly of the Scrap Trawlers. The, I think, Garna, the good one. You know the one, not the combo one.
Hey, whoa, relax. Both Garners are good.
I think one is better than
Blood
the
Fist
other.
of Keld is a major step up over the Blood Flame. Yeah, 1 black, double red, human berserker, 4/3. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, Garna deals 1 damage to each opponent. So
yeah, so I just like ripped this list wholesale from Andy and was just like doing aggro combat, and then the Warhost Frenzy was so sick in that deck.
Honestly, I think I played against him once upon a moon forever ago, and he fucking kicked my ass with that list. Exactly.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Yeah, really good.
And it was like $50 budget too. It was styling on full price decks. It's so good.
Yeah, this card bangs. This card fucks.
Fill your hand with more guys to cast so that you can continue pressing your opponents. That is that portion of the lecture. Another thing that we want to do is replace the bodies. We can do this with spells like Rise of the Dreadmarn, which makes a 2/2 zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. I think that you control. Let's get the full text of that. Yeah, an instant for 2 and a black, make X 2/2 black zombie berserker creature tokens. Rex is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. And you can foretell cast this for a black mana. So you just stash this on turn 2 or whatever, and then you continue curving out and playing your aggro game plan, and you keep that 1 black mana up. And then when somebody gets annoyed at your beating their ass and wipes the board, then you spend a black mana, you cast your Rise of the Dreadmarn, and you've got all of your guys back, basically, and you can keep going at it next turn. A similar effect is Spoils of Blood. It's an instant for 1 black mana. That's sort of the same thing, but it just makes 1 big dude. I think if your plan is go wide aggro, this is less advantageous, but if you're a fling girly or a
Well, the other thing, too...
Disciple of Bolus Enjoyer, like, that'll set you up for that.
I think the one thing that's really disappointing about this particular one is that it was printed in the Ob Nixilis Mono Black deck, and it's the only printing of it. Like, we have never seen another version or variation of this effect for 1 mana. Like, that's so crazy.
Yeah, this is from Commander 2014, so I am like Judge Judy tapping her watchdog gif. Where's my foil spoils of blood?
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's my foil? That fucking blue flame on that body fucking would
that would
rip.
So sick.
It's
that would
sick.
pop.
Oh,
Hell
god
yeah.
damn it. God damn it. Watsy, I'm waiting. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
So yeah, other ways that we can replace the bodies in not just spells, but also on permanents, because again, we want to ensure that we're diversifying our investments here. We can play cards like Ogre Slumlord, who says whenever a non-token creature dies, you make a 1/1 black rat creature token, and he also gives rats you control Death Touch. So I think this one is particularly good. You can turn pretty like shitty blocks for you into decent blocks because they generate a guy that has Death Touch that you can then present to your opponent and make their blocks shitty. And then when their guy dies, you make another Death Touch rat. I think that loop feels pretty good. You've also got Open the Graves, which just says whenever a non-token creature dies, you make a 2/2 zombie creature token, and that one's for 3 black. So they're both like 5 mana. When a thing dies, make a dude enchantments. The new technology in this space, though, is Blight Mound, a 2 and a black enchantment that says attacking pests you control get +1/+0 and have menace. And whenever a non-token creature you control dies, make a 1/1 black pest creature token with when this token dies, you gain a life. I think that this is worth considering over Open the Graves because the buff that you get on your pests and also getting menace is
It really matters.
Yeah. I think you end up with the same amount of power, and then your guys are harder to block. Additionally, they're pest tokens instead of zombies, which means when they die, you do gain a life, which helps you stabilize in the aggro game plan. If you're getting your ass beat for having turned all of your creatures sideways, then the life gain on that helps you overcome the people wailing on you. The last section is to make it so it's just absolutely fucking ruinous to wipe the board. And this one is so fucking easy. You already know all of these cards. They're called Blood Artists. We've got Conrad. We've got Sephiroth. We've got Bastion of Remembrance. We've got Vein Ripper. I'm posting yawn emoji here. You all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So you just play all of these guys, and that's your rattlesnake for the board wipes. If people want to wipe the board, sure. Just make it fucking hurt.
Yeah. It is so funny how we're at this point where you could make like aggro blood artists via Garna Bloodfist and turn them sideways and be like, okay, I want answer or die and or die. Like you get no in between. The options are just straight up bad for you either way.
Yeah, I think that is very funny. Just like I'm asking my opponents these questions, and then you set yourself up with like combat damage triggers from Gix and things like that, so you can make treasure tokens off your pro face breaker or draw cards if you deal combat damage. Or you can block that and all of this other shit happens. Pick your poison, gamer.
Yeah. See, now this is something that really speaks to me. I am currently pulling out every copy of Warhost Frenzy I can think of because I do have a non-zero amount of Rakdos / X other color decks. I don't know. It's such an interesting space to be in, especially like, and we haven't even mentioned your scam cards, right? Like you can,
that's another piece of like, if you're getting got, you can cast your scam cards, and that's a way to like not have to replace all of these bodies at all. You just get to keep that guy.
Yeah, like one of the things that I've found is that like obviously if you're playing scam cards, you usually want to be very proactive with your scamming because you're usually up to no good. Like you're replacing your evoke creature a la Fury and whatever the black one that's still being played. Grief, yeah. Like, there's a reason why a lot of these cards were getting banned because people were just able to bypass a lot of these effects that were supposed to keep these cards in check. But now, like, you can use them defensively and reactionary, like as a reaction thing, rather than being proactive, being like, well, I'm just going to scam the shit out of myself here. Let's fucking go. Check this out. But the tech really has gotten better. I think, like, Plum, the Forbidden, and Warhost Frenzy are probably, like, the more recent ones. But, yeah. A lot of different ways to keep going. Keep leaning heavily in on this. And thank you for reminding me of that. This is a really interesting one to mention because, one, it's from Dragon's Maze, a notoriously bad set. But this card was in the pile of cards that I had here, alongside some of these Warhost Frenzies that I've been pulling out. So this Showstopper. Now, this is for anything that sticks around. This is a really weird card. Let me just read it out and let's think about the possibilities here. 1 black and a red for an instant card. It says, until the end of turn, creatures you control gain. When this creature dies, it deals 2 damage to target creature an opponent controls. Now, this is still a really niche application. But if you know that your creatures are going to die via combat, we can do the post-combat or just before combat damage is being dealt to your creatures thing. Cast Showstopper. Then your creatures die. Your opponents have marked damage on their creatures. You then use Showstopper to start shooting them per 2 X times 2 to each of their creatures to just either flush them out, whatever. But you're getting that extra mileage out of it. You're not drawing cards. You're not gaining life. You can't even really shoot people in the face. And that's what your typical Blood Artists and stuff are for. But Showstopper is kind of one of those cards that like I always felt had flown under the radar, and I just never really quite knew the context to apply it. But now that I've been doing so much post-combat damage kill stuff...
you have. That's a Cole special.
Niche application with Showstopper, but, offensively, maybe even defensively, that was something I didn't think about when we started talking about this. But
yeah, if you're just like blocking with a bunch of shitty little guys that they thought were just going to be chum blockers, you cast your Showstopper, and then surprise, I'm killing your bomb.
I'm immediately thinking about Apex Altasaur, and someone's like, all right, it's time to kill the board, and you're just lying in wait, like, come on, fucking do it, I dare you. But yeah, all right, Dragon's Maze, maybe I gotta rethink about your whole thing.
Yeah, she might have some juice on a couple of cards.
I'm being too generous. Let's be real here. All right, but yeah. Damn, good one, Quinn. Love this. Much to think about, as normal.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's wrap it up here. Nice, short, and sweet. 3-hour episode. Good job, us.
Perfect. Nailed it.
You can check us out on our socials. The Bludger Guy for me, Girl Deck Energy for Quinn, and HBVC-MTG over on Bluesky. We're on YouTube. Give us a comment there or on Spotify. And then you can go hang out with us over on MTG Lexicon, the dive bar of EDH on the Discord, where we're usually chatting it up about something on that in that Discord, and then we'll usually be playing on Saturdays, playing Commander with between me and Quinn and some of the other hosts and some friends. And it's a good time. Lenny's there, by the way, in case some of you don't know that. That's fun. It's the place to be. It's cool. And yeah, that's it. We'll see y'all in the next episode.
All right. Later, gamers.